do you need to analyze the evidence for yourself? I mean, you can look at the easy ones. You can check off. You can check Yasin.
Yeah, those are the easy ones.
Right?
They like Kaf and Noon. Yeah, sure. But the
Did you confirm all those?
Aleph, Lam, Mim, those.
But hold on a
Yes.
second. Hold on a second. We don't need to get to Aleph to confirm that there's a code, right? We don't need that.
Yes, you do.
No, we don't.
Well, here's the thing, man. Like, if you just find some random things and say, like, "Oh, okay, we
It's
got
not
something."
Random. This is my point. It's not random because
It is. It is. If you don't have if you don't have a criteria, it's a random
I'm just
thing.
telling you the criteria.
I'm
telling you
so
consistent.
far, I haven't heard the criteria.
Hold on a second. He told you, brother Amin told you, it's a consistent methodology. He said Yasin occurs in this chapter 285 times, multiple 19. Qaf occurs in this chapter 57 times, 19 times 3. Ain Sin Qaf occurs in this chapter 209 times, 19 times 11. These are 3 consistent methodologies, instances, back to back. So this is already beyond probability or extremely unlikely natural occurrence. We don't even need to get to Aleph to establish there's a mathematical composition. Do you understand? Because you cannot do the same thing with the number 17. You can try. If you can do the same thing with 17, then we can consider it statistically significant.
Are you aware that, for example, Kaf shows up in 7 surahs?
No, it doesn't.
As a multiple of 19. Are you aware of that?
On a non-initial surah?
Random surahs.
We're talking about initial chapters, brother.
See, you're
talking about
making
random chapters. We didn't make these parameters.
You're making it special. That's the thing.
I'm not making it special. These are initial chapters. They're prefix initial. They occur in 29 chapters. And so I told you we have Qaf, we have Noon, we have Yasin, we have Ain Sin Qaf, we have Hamim, and we have Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sad. We can even do consistent methodology on these.
All right. So this could have sound convincing. It could have sound convincing if you said that we have 29 surahs that start with initials, and if you take every surah and you count the initials for each surah, they all have multiple of 19. Now that would sound a little bit more convincing.
Well, I showed you.
You do not have that.
Hold on a second. No, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
You do not have that.
Stop. I showed you the
table. No. You need to say it, right? I mean, you do not have that. That criteria you do not have, right?
It's not up to your criteria, though. It's irrelevant. You can make up any criteria you want. I can make any criteria.
Exactly. That's what I was waiting for.
No. Yeah, good. You're waiting for this. It doesn't need to meet your criteria.
No, it doesn't. But I'm saying, like, your criteria fails.
What are you talking about?
Because you're focusing on an initial, initials.
Same thing, fine. So do the same thing with a different number.
Any number you want.
Yeah, do it with a different number. Go ahead. And if you can get the similar data, then you're right.
What do you would like to know? Just
do the number 17. Do the number 13. Do the number 11. You're saying it's not statistically significant. You're denying the existence of any structure. You're saying because there's not one consistent methodology for 29 chapters, therefore you deny any structure whatsoever.
All right. Here's the thing first. Let me start with, since I can't.
But brother, hold on a second. The brother put a bunch of verses that shows that these letters are significant. You're saying they're not significant and they're arbitrary, but the verses themselves are saying they're significant. They determine and provide proofs of the divine scripture. It literally says it verse after verse. Let's read it.
In which way we have no clue, and that's my point.
Read the verses that were just put. Look at this. Chapter 10, verse 1. ALR. These letters are proofs of this book of wisdom. That's what we believe. We agree with that. Chapter 12, verse 1. ALR. These letters are proofs of this profound scripture. We agree with that.
It doesn't tell me anything with the that is associated with counting the letters.
Because if it gave you too much information, it would have been hidden for 1,406 years. This was remained a secret.
It shouldn't be hidden.
You're saying, what do you mean? That's what it is. That's what Mudathir means. It means hidden secret. So if
it's hidden, it's hidden for everybody.
Yeah, it was hidden for 1,406 years, which is 19 times 74 in the year 1974, which is also multiple
And
19.
it would
But the number
remain
19 in
hidden.
chapter 74. But hold on a second.
And it will remain hidden. If it's Quran means for forever. Until the judgment day, it should be the same. It should mean everything the
Wait a minute.
same
Your
for
voice
everybody.
is familiar. Are you from Croatia?
No,
Are you Russian?
it doesn't matter, man. Come on. Yes, I
Are
have
you
accent.
Are you Quranway?
I wouldn't think so.
Okay. I'm just wondering if we've spoken before because your voice sounds very familiar.
Oh, I mean,
Anyway,
we spoke before, yes. I mean, but
huh?
like 2 more times. I mean, yeah, we spoke before, but not in any
Okay,
depth.
so listen. These letters have been a secret for 1,400 years. Everyone's trying to figure them out. Now we have the answer to them. Okay? We're telling you
See, you're claiming
that
you
they
have
curse.
answers.
Yes, we're telling
God
you.
didn't say that somebody's gonna actually find out what they mean.
All right, I want to give a chance for other people to speak. Go ahead, brother Amin or War Thunder, whoever wants to talk. I'm sorry for hogging up the time. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think that's the thing about a miracle, right? We claim it's a miracle because we believe that no other human can produce something like it or discover something like it for that matter, right? If you can do something very similar with this, find a prime number, choose a prime number, right?
Hold on, right there. Let me. Prime number has nothing to do with this miracle.
It does. So
It
let me
has
tell you.
absolutely
If I
nothing to
choose
do.
if I choose 18, for example, right? The thing with 18 is divisible by what? It's divisible by 3 and 2, okay? So any number that you bring in that's a multiple of 18 is already a multiple of 2, which increase the probability by quite a lot, actually, for any number to be, or any pattern to be divisible by 2 or 3. The reason why we say 19 or 17 or let's say 23, right, is that this is way, way, way more unlikely. Or let's say you do it with 119, that's a prime number, right? So that's the thing. If you can find something like it, right, we would love to see it, and we would disbelieve in this book. Disbelieve in this code.
Well,
That's the thing, right? Like, what does Quran say to the disbeliever? It says if you disbelieve in it, right? If you have doubts, produce something like it, right? And if you can't, then then that's the end of it.
I mean, I'm just saying that even 4 chapters being consistently multiple of 19 with consistent methodology is already extremely unlikely. He's
Yeah.
denying that statistical significance. I'm saying you think Qaf, Ain Sin Qaf, Yasin, Kaf Ha Yain Sad, and Noon. That's 5 chapters. They're all consistent methodology, multiple of 19. If you can show this with a different
what is
number,
consistent if it fails?
how does it fail?
Because you can't just say, well, you know what, we have this pattern, but it's broken because
It's not broken.
we have few of these initials that don't add up, so we're gonna
What are you talking about? You're
ignore
not
those.
listening. You're not listening. I don't know, War Thunder. Maybe you can explain it better than what I'm trying to say.
Well, the thing is, 12 of them, right, are
All
not
right,
interlocking, right? Just a second.
let's make a claim so we know what we're talking about. There is a Taha, there's a Tasim meme, there's Tasi.
Yeah, he's not.
Those and Tasim meme, they do not add up with anything.
They do add up.
They do not.
They do add up, but you're missing the point.
They do not.
You're missing the point. You're missing the forest for the trees, for one tree. You're missing the point. I'm telling you, I don't even need those to establish a mathematical composition. And because this forces you to concede this point, you're ignoring it and you're jumping to other stuff. I'm telling you, we have 5 consistent methodology that forces you to acknowledge that there is a mathematical composition. I don't need Yas. I don't need Taha.
Yes, you do.
I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't.
That's the scientific criteria. If you wanna, if you wanna claim that this is a miracle, if you wanna provide this to somebody, to the mathematician, you have to have a pattern that's not broken.
You're not listening.
We have a mathematician who is already convinced by the tables of Hamim alone. 2 mathematicians, and they both said that it's impossible for a human to write this without mumbling or jumbling in his words. And actually, one of them even said this must be from aliens.
But you know what? But Erdem,
I would like to talk to
even if
those
we
guys.
use his argument, and we're saying that Taha has no code and Aleph Lam Mim has no code, which is not true, it's false. But he
Well,
still would have to acknowledge
well,
that
what
these
is the
chapters,
code
hold
then?
on a second,
Tell
you would
me
still,
first, what is the code for those then?
No, because it's not even relevant to the discussion. The problem is you're not acknowledging any mathematical composition. Let's just say those chapters are corrupted, okay? You're going to dispute them, they're broken, they're corrupted.
now you're going that far.
Yeah, because
Well,
I'm telling
if
you,
you
because
Wait,
I'm
I want
telling
to
you, we don't,
if
because
you're
I'm
going that
saying,
far,
because I'm telling you, we don't need those chapters to establish the existence of a mathematical composition based on number 19 in the Quran. We just don't need it. And because you're not acknowledging this fact, you keep jumping to those. I'm saying, let's imagine those chapters are not even part of the Quran. They're broken, they're fake, you reject them, whatever. I'm telling you, with these 5 that we have, hold on, with these 5 that we have, they are multiples of 19. And this is beyond probability.
What
Okay?
it's
Navid is
not.
saying,
No, it's not.
what Navid is saying is basically when you throw an apple from a tree to the ground, when you release it from your hand, most of the time it falls to the ground, which shows you a pattern.
So
Right? So
let
you know
me
there's gravity.
calculate the
You know
probability for our point here.
You know gravity exists.
That's not the mathematical
Let's
proof to
wait, okay,
anything.
let's
False.
calculate the probability static. I don't know if you know statistics. I would assume you know a little bit, right? So out of these 12, like let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. 11 of them, right, are a multiple of 19 if you add them all together. For 4, it doesn't. Okay, now the probability for calculating this, right, a number being a multiple of 19, okay, it's 1 divided by 19 in 11 instances. In 11 different numbers, it's 1 over 19 raised to the power of what? 11 times 18 divided by 19. That's the probability of it not being a multiple of 19. All right. Let's say for 4 cases it doesn't happen. Okay, just like what you said. I'll calculate right now for you. For 4 cases it doesn't happen. Let's say those 4 cases we got it wrong. Okay. All right.
Hey,
Probability
brother, I gave you a long number calculator that gives you the actual full equation, the full number percentage.
We got
You
the
know,
number right now for you. It's 6.9, right? 149 raised to the power times 10 to the power minus 15. Now, this is the probability of this happening, even with those 4 wrong ones, because you got something very miraculous with the 11 happening, that even if you want to count those 4 as being wrong, okay, right? What's the probability? Let me tell you, okay. I give you 15 numbers, right? What's the probability of 11 of them being multiple of 19? You tell me. This is it. This is the probability. 6.914 times 10 to the power minus 15. That's the probability because it's so unlikely that it happens in 11 cases out of the 15. Now this should be something alarming to you. Imagine tossing a what is it called? A dice that has like 19 numbers on it, right? Imagine you toss this 15 times, right? And 11 times it becomes 19 and 4 times it doesn't become 19. You tell me what's the probability of that? You know it's so low. You know it's impossible. Let me actually look. What is the mathematical definition for impossible? Mathematical definition. I think it was 10 to the power minus 7 of probability 0. Where is it? I think it was 10 to the minus 0. I don't remember, honestly. I can't find it. I think Peter might have remembered it, but I think it was around 10 to minus 7 in terms of probability. But this is 10 to minus 15, bro. So even
Alright.
even those 4 are wrong, okay? This is beyond probability. I even counted those 4 for you. Okay, I said those 4 are false. Okay.
There was also an
Alright.
objection regarding the hidden secret. So the hidden secret, the fact that it's also always supposed to be a hidden secret for forever, but that's not what the Quran says. Quran says in verse 10:20, he says, "They say, how come no miracle came down to him from his Lord? say the future belongs to God. So wait, and I am waiting along with you. That's what the Quran says. So it's basically not forever.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You're taking the verses out of the context. I mean, come on, man. All right, so go back to what I think War Thunder was talking about, the probability and everything. See, what happens, like what you did there, you took the premise and found the worst case, um, putting these surahs with initials and giving them meaning, basically, and you're associating them together and
No, I
saying,
said if they're
well,
random. No.
well,
I said
and you're saying is like, oh, okay, look at this. Like, we have these surahs, we have these that they show up with the 19, multiple of 19s. How possible is it, for them to actually get that number? Like, so it's like it almost, the way you're treating them is like these 11 surahs are only ones in existence in the Quran. Nothing else is around them, and somehow they because of the letters,
there's a
they're
point,
somehow associated with each other,
bro. For
and
one
that's
thousand
your
bro,
problem. See, that's your
for
problem. You're taking
1,000,
a
bro.
premise.
That's
Yeah.
the code. We're trying to decode something here. Okay, we're
No,
not
no, no.
talking about the other
But
parts
you're
of Quran.
not.
I can
But
give
you're
you other
not. But
ones.
here's the problem, man. Like, if you're talking about the probability, that means you really have to have that premise to say, like, okay, all the surahs with initials, they're gonna have number
So we're
19
gonna ask
multiples,
you. Hold on
and
a second. Why are you
and
going? Hold on.
well,
Hold on.
man,
Hold on.
like,
What's the
I
likelihood?
actually let
Finish. Let me finish,
Lord
Navid.
Thunder
Hold on.
like
Hold on. Hold on.
completely
What is
talk
the
and didn't
probability of
interrupt
one
me
of
for
Navid,
one
you
second,
finish. Let
man.
him
Like, you're
finish, and then
interrupting every time I try to say
go
anything.
ahead, Static.
So my observation here is that,
Mm.
first of all, you did not find every surah with initials to have the multiple of 19. What you found, that you have a few of those, and then because you couldn't find surahs with initials, what you did, you combined those that start with same initials and try to see, oh, okay, so now I have few of those. Well, eventually they actually add up and they actually gave me the number of 19. So I'm gonna use that premise. So you're shifting to find things to match with 19.
Funny
And like I'm
enough,
saying, there is no criteria here. You're just
yeah.
shifting and
Okay.
finding
Okay.
19. Do you
Let me tell you
understand
what
that?
was the criteria.
Do you understand
Funny
like what
enough,
I'm trying to say?
wait. Funny enough, you said what's the criteria, and I
There
gave
is
you
no
the
criteria.
criteria. Just a second. I let you talk, okay? You said, oh, you don't have any criteria, and I told you for all these verses, sorry, for all these surahs that start with Quranic initials, right? I'm gonna take them and add them all up together. Okay. Now this creates how many? 15 different random numbers. Okay. This should create 15 different random numbers. Okay. We're talking about thousands of numbers here, right? Now, these 15 numbers, if it's truly random, if there's no system in it, right, let's find the probability of it, right? So I said this criteria that, I'm saying that they're gonna come out as a multiple of 19, right? Now, 11 of them came out as a multiple of 19, now 4 of them didn't. Funny enough, those 4 with together, they also add up to a 19, okay? But even let's take that 4 is just wrong, okay? You take this and you find it probably is so impossible. You ask for a criteria, we gave you a criteria, and you're like, oh no, I don't like your criteria. I gave you the criteria
No,
right
no,
now.
no, because your criteria fails, man. That's the problem
How
here.
does it fail? How does it fail?
Because it's not consistent, man.
It
It
is
fails
consistent. I gave you the
because some
probability
things
right
add
now.
up, some things don't.
Can,
That's
can,
not
can I can I
consistent.
jump in? Can I jump in? Do you know there's a concept that's known as specified complexity? Are you familiar with this concept?
No.
Okay, so specified complexity is when is something in essence just there's no design involved, and when does something constitute design? Okay, so for instance, if I look at a mountain side, I say, okay, is this design or is this just wind and erosion? I could look at a mountain and say, hey, these faces, they resemble the faces of Washington, Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, but that's just a coincidence. There's enough mountains. One of them is going to have the faces of these individuals, right? If someone made that claim, you'd say, okay, that doesn't seem specified. That doesn't seem correct. Because at the end of the day, it's like, look, the fact that these are recognized figures, it's inside the United States. They're the founding fathers of this country. You would say, okay, there is something that's designed here. It's not just wind and erosion. Make sense?
Yeah, where are you going with this?
Okay. If I flip a coin 50 times, okay, and I write that sequence, heads, tails, basically all 50, that outcome is incredibly unlikely. But is there any design involved in that outcome? No, because if I didn't get that outcome, I would have got some other outcome. Make sense?
Sure.
Okay. What makes the Quran's mathematical structure, the fact of saying that, look, this isn't just us throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, is that there's fixed variables that have been there for 1400 years. Okay? The book is the Quran. Do you accept the Quran? I'm just curious, like your background.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a book that is claimed to be from God. Okay? Surah 74 is the only chapter in the entire Quran that mentions the number 19. Okay, these are fixed variables. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Surah 74 has the disbeliever who's going to count, basically evaluate and count the Quran and say that this is but clever magic, this is human made. This is inside the verses, right? So this is fixed. Make sense?
Okay.
In the verse, it says that God is going to, in essence, disprove this claim by saying over is 19. Okay? We have 114 chapters in the Quran. That's 19 times 6. Okay? We didn't pick that. This is the way that it's given to us. On top of 29 of these chapters, we have 14 sets of initials. Okay? These initials have been there for 1400 years. Make sense?
Yeah.
If you go into any of the respective chapters, count the number of letters within the respective chapters, they come out in multiples of 19. We didn't pick the number 19. We didn't pick the letters. We didn't pick the chapter, right? We didn't pick the book. This was all basically fixed parameters that were given to us. Now we have a choice. We could say, okay, this is just a coincidence, right? No different than me staring at the mountains and saying, hey, they kind of look like the faces of the founding fathers of the United States, but you know what? It's probably just wind and erosion. Or we can say that, no, this is deliberate design. You know, are you familiar with cryptography?
Somewhat.
Do you know what public key cryptography is?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. So in public key cryptography, basically every individual, they have two keys. One is a private key that you keep for yourself. Then you have a public key. What's interesting with this is that both the private and the public key, they're prime numbers. Okay. It just happens that it's a prime number. What you do when I send you a message, so say for instance on Signal, on WhatsApp, on Telegram, I send you a message. Basically, what you can do is you can take my public key and you can validate two things. Okay. The first thing is you can validate that it's me who sent that message. Right? It wasn't suspected. It wasn't Q Labs. It wasn't Peace GPS. It wasn't Navid. It was me who sent the message. Right. The second thing you can do with that public key is you can validate that the message I sent was untampered. That every bit, every letter of it has been basically intact. And God instilled this inside the Quran for 1400 years. Today, if you use, I think it's Signal, if I'm not mistaken, they have this security mechanism where when you're having an encrypted communication with someone else, they present you three. And basically what you do is when you're corresponding with someone, you say, hey, what are your emojis? And if it matches what you have, you say, okay, this is a secure connection. You think this, God put these letters, right, on top of these 29 chapters that in essence have been preserved for 1400 years that operate no different than Signal sending encrypted communication today. And God did this in preservation of the Quran. Now, this is something, again, it's like, look, you can talk about all the super advanced, complicated things, but these are just the very basic premises that are fixed. And we didn't pick the letter, we didn't pick the number, we didn't pick the chapter, we didn't pick the book. All this has been preserved in the Quran for 1400 years.
Yeah, but I mean, you did mention a lot of things. So I mean, like, just from top of my head, like you mentioned prime. I don't really think that there's any significance here for a number 19, especially as a small number. You know, from 1 to 20, like half is prime, half is not. It's a small number that is really it's not. There is no. I'm not even sure why we pointing that this number is prime. It's like it holds some kind of a.
It's significant because again, if
it really isn't.
Let's say, for instance, no. There's a significance. If it was 16, right? That means that it would be divisible by 4, by 2, by 8, right? And all of a sudden to say, oh, it's divisible by 16, it's like, okay, so what? Like, there's a unique reason that in, say, cryptography, they use prime numbers, right?
Yeah, big numbers, man. That's the
No,
thing.
no, 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 no.
Not the
Just in the
prime
sense of
19. You know, like 19 is going to be useless, just like any
Yeah.
other number.
No, but it doesn't matter, right? If
Oh,
it
it
was
does
13,
matter.
no. If it was 13 or 23, right? The aspect that basically the probability of this happening, again, without deliberate design, drops to 0. Right? The fact that we have 29 chapters, in their respective chapters, they end up becoming consistently multiples of 19. You know, again,
Well, here's the thing, man. Like, you guys are throwing probability out. Well, from 1 to 20, probability that prime is gonna be
Okay.
the number that was picked was prime is like 50% chance, right?
No.
I don't
That's not
see
true.
the
No,
I don't
that's
how's not true.
that's
Count from
absolutely
1
not
to
true.
20. That's you have like 50-50 chance you're gonna get prime number.
Let's. I mean, we could go through, but okay, think of this.
Go. I mean, if you, I mean,
Take for instance, okay, the Surah 42 and Surah 50, they
Mhm.
both contain the letter Qaf, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Both these occurrences, despite the fact that Surah 42 is twice as long as Surah 50, the occurrence of the letter Qaf, Q, in English, occurs 57 times, 19 times 3. Okay? If you add the surah numbers and the number of verses of both these surahs, they come out to 95, which is 19 times 5. Surah 42 has 2 sets of initials, so it's Hameen, Ain, Sin, Qaf. If you add all the Ains, the Sins, and the Qaf in Surah 42, you get 209, which is 19 times 11. Okay? Hamim occurs in 7 surahs, Surah 40 through 46. If you add all the Hamims in all 7 surahs, so now you're basically creating an interlocking mechanism, you get 2,147, which is a multiple of 19. Right? This pattern continues on and on, meaning each time that you end up getting these consistent things, the probability of that basically diminishes because you go, okay, it's 1 out of 19, which is about like 5.3%. Then it becomes 1 out of 361. You know, then it's basically 19 cubed. Then it's 19 to the 4th, right? Very quickly, that probability drops down to the point that if you're going to say, look, this is just clever magic, this is human made, right? That in essence is literally what the verse is saying that the disbelievers are going to say when presented with this.
What you got to say, static?
Oh, sorry. I was talking. I didn't realize I didn't turn the microphone. I was trying to actually explain to War Thunder as well as far as the probability, because if you guys see, if you take the specific way, if you take the problem and put it in a specific way, it's gonna end up being really low probability, and that's what I'm seeing here. How you guys are
But I
fitting
asked
these
you
things.
a specific question. I
Uh-huh.
said, what's the likelihood of Qaf occurring a multiple of 19 times in chapter 50?
Say that again. What is the
What's
probability?
the likelihood
Yeah.
of Qaf occurring in chapter 50 number of times it's a multiple of 19?
Okay, so
And this is what War Thunder was getting at. He dismisses probability, so I want to get it from you. What is the likelihood? There is some likelihood, right? It exists. It's a statistical,
1 divided by 19.
probabilistic.
Yeah.
Is it
So
fair to say it's 5%? 1 over 19? Is that fair or no?
you can look at it that way, sure.
Okay,
Here's
so
the
then
thing.
so we got Qaf. Okay, fine. Now let's do noon. So now, what's the chance of getting Qaf and noon both being a multiple 19? What the likelihood diminishes, right?
Well, see, that's the thing. You're combining them. You putting them together as they
I'm not
have.
combining them.
Yeah, you are.
It's
You are.
showing a deliberate
Because
design.
if you separate them, if you just say like, what's the probability for a cough? What is the probability for none? They're all gonna be 1 over 19.
No. But these are, you have to understand, right? If it was only one surah, then yeah, you'd say, look, you do enough permutations, you're gonna get a multiple, right? But when it happens consistently, you're basically at this paradox. You say either this is magic, right? Like we're gaming the system, or someone deliberately designed this. Why is it so far-fetched to think that God, in his wisdom, that he put this mechanism in as the source of preservation of the Quran? You know, consider this. There's 3 mechanisms to date that people knew about how the Quran was preserved. Are you familiar with this?
2 mechanisms.
3.
3 of them?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it's a spoken word and written down. I'm not sure what's third.
Grammar.
Okay.
Right? Meaning that if you change the
Well,
spelling, you
yeah,
change the grammar.
because I guess Arabic grammar came around Quran. I guess it was
I mean,
shaped by Quran.
the Quran is its own. The Quran is its own grammar. It has its own syntax, right? And in
Right,
addition,
right, yeah.
if I start removing letters or adding letters, I'm going to get gibberish, right? No different than computer code. You know, if I take a computer code and I just start adding letters and numbers and punctuation to it, it's going to break the code. Same thing with the Quran, right? These are 3 mechanisms. The challenge is, okay, when it comes to, you familiar with Girat? You're on mute.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So if you say, hey, what's the proper Girat of the Quran? How do we know which one is, right? If you look at different recitations, you know, the traditional Muslims say they're all right. Is it? Did God give the Quran in multiple and it's not just dialects, right? These are multiple versions of it. Where in essence the verse counts are going to be different, the wording is going to be different, the grammar is going to be different. This doesn't make sense, right? I'll give you a clear example. In Surah 36 of the Quran, verse 68. If you compare, so right now we have 4 written copies of the Quran, right? Hafs version is the predominant version. Then you have Warsh, you have Ghanbal, and you have Duri. Okay. If you look at these versions, okay, the Hafs version in Surah 36, verse 68. Okay, let me pull this up really quick, unless someone else has it on hand, the image.
Navid, do you have it?
I got it here. I'll paste it in. Give me 1 sec. Okay. If you look at here, okay, in Surah 36, so keep in mind, even the verse counts between these recitations are different, okay? But if you look, in the Qadun, it basically has taqaluna, okay? In Hafs, it's yaqaluna. And if you ask people which one is the correct one, they can't tell you definitively. It just happens that Surah 36 is a Yasin surah. If you use taqaluna as opposed to yaqaluna, all of a sudden you don't have a multiple of 19 because your number of ya's are going to be down by 1. This is the mechanism by which, in essence, God is preserving the Quran that people were completely oblivious to. In that, in essence, they thought that, look, there's no way to detect between Yagaluna and Taqaluna. God is saying that, look, just by this mechanism alone, not only can we determine the right spelling of this word, but we can actually determine the right recitation. When you look at the mathematical structure of the Quran, it corresponds with the Hafs recitation. It does not correspond with the Warsh or the Kalun or the Duri recitations of the Quran. This is huge. But even within the Hafs, okay, you know the word, there's the word alayl. Like, how much Arabic do you know?
Not much.
Okay. So do you know what alayl means? Night?
Yeah.
Okay. In the, if you pick up a Hafs Quran today, okay, half of them are going to write alayl with 3 lams. Other half are going to write it with 2 lams. Okay. Which one is the correct version? You can make arguments. You can say, look, it should be written this way or that way. And I've heard them all. But the reality is, if you use a layl with 3 lams as opposed to 2, all of a sudden the 13 surahs that are lam initialed no longer become multiples of 19. And they're all going to be off by the number of alayls inside those surahs.
But why does it matter how you write it? The
Because
Quran
those
was revealed by speech, not by writing. So
it is.
you
No,
can
no, no.
write stuff
That's
however you
inaccurate.
want,
No,
as
no, no,
long
no,
as
no,
as
no.
long as you know how to pronounce it.
Bro, that's inaccurate. Muhammad himself had a written copy of the Quran. They had the suhuf during the time of Abu Bakr. They made the mushaf during the time of Uthman. They've always had written copies of the Quran. This is a false narrative that it's only recitation.
You don't have proof of that, man.
Oh, no, absolutely. There's proof. There's tons of proof. Okay? Even look at this. In Surah 2, okay, the word Ibrahim, okay? Consistently, you will not find a ya in the spelling of Ibrahim in Surah 2. Why? What's the significance? Who is dictating this? Linguistically, they sound identical, right? It's these kinds of things. Again, I apologize, but this concept of saying, "Oh no, it's just audible," this is laughable, right? The written copies are just as important as the audio recitations of the Quran.
Well, sure, you can say that, but I can also
Not
say
saying
that
that's a fact. That is a fact. Like, dude, the majority of this goes down to the mushafs, right? We have tens of thousands of mushafs from the first 100, 200 years of the Quran. We have ones of the earliest ones, and again, it matches perfectly to what we have today. The only distinction is regarding these nuances. So here's like another example. Surah 7, verse 69, okay? Basically, the word is basatan. Okay, you see this written in the mushafs, sometimes with the sin, sometimes with the sad. The question is, which one is the right version? You could say, hey, it's not a big deal, whatever, it's a recitation, but this is the level of sophistication of God's system that when he says he's going to preserve the Quran, it was in mechanisms we couldn't even perceive. If you look, again, this is a sad initialed surah. If you go with a sin as opposed to a sad, then in essence, the sads end up becoming a multiple of 19. If you use a sad as opposed to a sin, then all of a sudden you're off by one. Again, you can write this off. Oh, it's all just a big coincidence. But at some point, you realize that the data is basically stacking up against you.
yeah, but I have to go back to your point as far as the recitation. I mean, I still think that you have to take that as a strong case that Quran was revealed as a speech from God,
No.
from
Ikra,
Jibril
ikra.
to Muhammad,
It's not
right?
true. That's even the first
Hold
revelation
on.
of the Quran. The first revelation of the Quran is ikra. Ikra means read from something that's actually written. The second revelation of the Quran is God teaches by means of the pen. This concept that, oh no, it's just an oral recitation, this has no basis in the Quran. The concept of Quran means to be reading off something. It's not basically, talla would be in essence if you're just reciting.
So now we're saying that Quran was not revealed by speech. It was somehow written down as a
Dude, by
revelation.
far, so look at this. The very first revelation of the Quran was read. Read in the name of your Lord who created. Read in your Lord teaches by means of the pen. He teaches man what he never knew. This is the first revelation, Surah 96. Second revelation of the Quran. Noon.
Read from what? I mean, especially if this is the first revelation.
Teaches by
Read from
means
what?
of the pen. Listen, bro. It says teaches by means of the pen. And then in Surah 2, it says Noon in the pen and what they, the people, write. This Quran was not just some audible recitation. This was written by God's messenger. This was his duty to write this Quran down.
To me, the difference is that we're seeing here is just a scribal errors. I mean, that's all it is. I mean,
No.
I don't
Bro,
see it as.
If you're saying, how did God preserve? Sorry. How did God preserve the Quran then? Because again, now you're just playing down the Quran. It's funny to me that when people are arguing against this, what they end up doing is they belittle the Quran, they belittle God's system. Why do you do that? Why don't you accept the fact that, look, there's all these patterns within the Quran surrounding the number 19. But rather than doing that, you say, no, God didn't preserve it. It's fine. Any method is okay. When we're showing you definitive proof that, look, if you use one letter over the other, you're basically going to break this code.
Well, what am I belittling? I mean, I'm not taking anything from Quran. I mean,
No,
like the
if you're
two
gonna
verses
say-
taken out is a big thing.
Okay.
I mean,
No. Let's look at those two verses. Do you know the history behind those two verses? Do you know why those two verses have been suspect for 1,400 years?
yeah, I heard the stories.
Random verses. Okay, so the history behind these, this is
But
known.
if you believe in that, hold on. If you believe in that, that actually proves that Quran wasn't written down, man.
No.
That's
What
a
do you mean?
contradiction.
No, dude, you don't even know the history. Don't jump to conclusions. Okay. After Muhammad had a written copy of the Quran. This is known. This is documented. It's well understood. And the Battle of Yamama had happened. Right. They lost a bunch of the memorizers of the Quran. He appointed Zayd ibn Thabit to basically go and collect the Quran into the order we have today. Okay. In the Hadith, it's very clear. Zayd basically went and collected the Quran from all individuals, okay? Except he found all verses with multiple witnesses in written parchment, with the exception of Surah 9, verse 128, 129, where he found only with Huzaymah, okay? Now, you have to ask, the scholars know, by this definition alone, these two verses are not mutawatir, okay? It was only found with one person. This means, think about this, Zayd ibn Thabit did not memorize the Quran. Omar did not memorize the Quran. Uthman did not memorize the Quran. None of the companions of God, God's messenger, memorized the Quran. That's what it requires in order to believe that this one individual, this one sole individual, was the only one who memorized these two verses. Now, keep in mind, this is Surah 9, verse 120. 9 was the last major revelation of the Quran. The last revelation was Surah 110, which is only 3 verses. This is a Medinan surah, except for those last 2 verses, which happen to be Meccan. This does not even make sense. Like, the scholars know this doesn't make sense. Their justification, they say, look, it was in the canonized version from Uthman, and we just accept it as is. This is part of the reason that, again, they were not aware of this sophistication of God on how he preserved the Quran. This is the mechanism that, again, for 1400 years, people knew that these verses have been suspect. There's volumes and volumes written about these 2 verses, the history behind them. This is not just 2 arbitrary verses selected. No one had, in essence, the proof to say definitively, yes, these 2 verses don't belong. There's tons of red flags around this, but realistically, the mathematical code of the Quran, these impurities are basically removed from the Quran. If today I go and I grab a Quran, I add a bunch of, copy and text to it, I change letters and stuff, did God fail his promise? No, right? There's mechanisms inside this Quran that maintain its integrity. That's the whole point. If you're going to say that, no, it's just the audible recitation, you're really basically selling all these mechanisms that God has bestowed upon us and just taking it for granted.
The point is, man, that if you want to take that historical events that happened like during the collecting the Quran, then you have to admit that in that case,
That's not what
Quran
he's
was
saying.
not.
That's not what he's saying. He said there's red flags and there's 2 verses that stick out historically. He's not saying that we have to
Yes,
take every
I
single
understand
historical
that.
claim.
That's
Hold on. He didn't say,
nobody's disputing that.
Hold on. He didn't say that you have to take every single historical claim as fact. He's saying there's a lot of red flags about these 2 verses. It causes us to examine them further. Upon examination, we see that the mathematical code rejects these 2 verses. It accepts every single verse in the Quran except these 2 verses. It's not a coincidence that they already had problems.
These aren't just 2 random verses. This is the whole point.
The 2 verses are questionable, no doubt. You are making the valid point. I'm not disputing that. What I'm disputing is like your claim that Quran was already written down. That I guess you're even claiming that Muhammad was writing down the Quran.
This is confirmed inside the Quran, right? I'll give you a simple example. It says, had he uttered any other teaching, we would have seized him by his right hand. Okay, let me pull up these verses really quick. It shows that the purpose of the right hand. So give me one sec.
There's a verse that where mentions scribes, not just the one person. So there's that too. So how you take that then?
The scribe is not. It's safar. Safar just means someone who's basically a traveler. This concept. I mean, you can look at the verse. It's not scribes.
We're twisting.
Okay.
No,
bias,
even
right?
even the opponents accused of Muhammad writing himself. They say.
Now I want to pull this verse.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a. Oh man, where is it? Dictated to him. Tales he wrote down. Do you remember?
I already put it.
Okay, yeah.
It was dictated to him day and night.
Yeah, I put it already in the chat. 25:5. They're not saying that it's a group of scribes. It's a different dictate one. Hold on.
So
yeah, no. It's the one where.
Well, even that Surah 25 is saying it's dictated to him. So revelation came as a dictation. I mean, it was no other way.
This is the claim from the disbelievers.
53:5. Okay, 53. Wait a minute. 53:5 resolves this because God's the one dictating. You dictate for something to be written down. So it's literally dictated for the function and purpose of being written down.
16103. This is the claim. This is the claim of the disbelievers when they say tales from the past. He wrote them down, right? It says they are fully aware. They say a human being is teaching him. The tongue, the source they hint at, is non-Arabic. This is perfect Arabic tongue, right? So they're saying, look, the disbelievers are even making the claim that he wrote this down. There's one verse where it specifically says he wrote it down with his right hand. Okay. In essence, it's and then God in Surah 69 says that if he uttered any other teachings, we would have seized him by the right hand. You have to ask, what is the significance of the right hand? The purpose of seizing the prophet by the right hand, had he said any other teachings, is that because that is the hand he's writing the Quran with. This concept that the prophet was illiterate, he couldn't read or write, this is a fairy tale that they made up in order to elevate his status because he didn't have a physical miracle.
But the grammar, the alphabet, the Arabic itself was fluid at that time, right? Do you agree with that?
No, what do you mean?
Well,
Explain.
there wasn't like concrete grammar rule, right? I mean, I guess
No,
the
no, no,
other
the
the other thing
Quran
is like
itself.
hold on, like the other thing is like the Quran, the first Quran that we had, like it didn't even have those dots, underneath
Diacritical
and
marks.
yeah. So how do you explain that then?
Okay, no, this is, I mean, again, all
How
this
would
is
you explain
documented.
that then?
If you're going to ask a question, let me answer, right? This is actually, the nuqtas existed way before the Quran. This is like documented. They intentionally did not put the nuqtas inside the mushafs. Do you know why?
Why?
The reason was because they had it in conjunction with a professional reciter. Because what was happening was, as this was expanding to other Arab tribes and people who didn't speak Arabic, they were adding synonyms. They were changing some of the text within the Quran. So what they did is they said, look, this is our way, in essence, of locking down the recitation. Is we're going to remove the dots and the to your point, the vocalizations didn't exist, right? So these things, the vowel markings and stuff, the first ones came 30 years after the prophet's death, and it continued for about another 170 years before to the system we have today. It was always in conjunction, right? You had the mushaf and you had the Qur'an. So the mushaf was the written copy, the Qur'an was the professional reciter. These came hand in hand.
Well, hand in hand, but we don't even know how Muhammad recited the Quran. So we got all lost actually.
Well, this is the whole point. This is the function of the mathematical miracle of the Quran. Because again, right now we have multiple recitations, but that are retained today. We have 4, right? Basically have any kind of established following. It just happens that the recitation of Hafs is the one that corresponds with the mathematical miracle. That's the whole point. Because if you went with Tagaluna, right, in Surah 36, 3668, then in essence, that, the yaws would no longer be a multiple of 19. This is the mechanism. I think you're missing the point of how this whole system kind of falls into to place. Again, you could say, hey, one of this is a coincidence. How do you
No.
explain that?
What you did, you picked the one that is most common, and like it looks like
No.
it agrees mostly
Number
with
of
the
verses. So
19.
say, for instance, no, it's not just, look, 6,346 verses, right? That's a multiple of 19. If you add the digits, that's a multiple of 19. If you
Well,
go
yes,
with the other version,
after
if
you remove the verses, right?
but again, you admitted, look, those 2 verses have been suspect. You know, this
But that
miracle.
doesn't mean that they're not part of the Quran. If they're
Of
suspect,
course.
I mean, right?
No, bro. Look, 9. Okay, look at this. Those 2 verses consist of 29 words. Okay, you know how many words are now basically no longer multiple of 19 because they're up by 1? 9 of the 29 words. Tell me statistically, how likely is that? 9 of the 29 words are no longer multiples of 19 if you add them throughout the entire Quran. You're telling me that's a coincidence?
Is this the list? Is this the list? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so
I put it in VC1. I put it in
yes,
VC1 dash
I'm
chat.
actually I'm looking at him, and I'm
So
looking
you're
at
telling me,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
we got 29 words, and almost a third of them automatically make the whole composition for all these words equal multiples of 19. That's already extremely statistically significant. There's no other verse in the Quran that behaves this way, or 2 verses.
You have 29, right? If you have 29 words, statistically, you'd expect 1.5 of them to be a multiple of 19. Okay? The fact that we have 9 of 29 words end up becoming multiples of 19, right, is far beyond. And again, it's not 2 random verses. These are verses that have volumes and volumes written about because of their history. But they have glaring aspects regarding their linguistics that have been a red flag for 1,400 years. But even if you look, so what's funny is the history. So I got to explain this. This is too funny.
Okay.
Zema, who they say was the only one who knew these 2 verses, okay? They say that his testimony is worth that of 2. You say, okay, where did this come from? Where did this history that Huzaima's testimony is that of 2? You want to know the hadith that basically shows his testimony is worth that of 2? You tell me. I'm going to tell it to you, and you tell me if this sounds like something trustworthy. One day, the Prophet was going out to buy a horse from a Bedouin. Okay, he agrees on a price. Then he runs to go get the money from his home, and as he comes back, he sees that there's a crowd of people around this Bedouin bidding him for that horse. The Prophet goes to the guy and says, "Hey, I have your money for the horse." He says, "I did not sell it to you." He says, "Yes, you did." He says, "Where is your witness?" Out of the crowd, Huzaima comes out and says, "I bear witness that you sold this horse to the Prophet." The Prophet goes into to Huzaima and says, "How did you say that? You weren't here. You weren't a witness." He says, "Because it came out of your mouth, Prophet, I know it's true." The Prophet said, "From here day on out, Huzaima's testimony is worth that of 2." You're telling me, right? Like the people who come up with this crazy narrative, this guy bore false witness, lied, and because of that, the Prophet said from this day forward, this dude's testimony is that of 2. They keep compounding these lies on top of lies on top of lies in order to try to cover over this fabrication that they added to the Quran. Even if you look at Surah 9, verse 127, out of all the verses that they basically place, these next 2 verses, this is when a surah is revealed, some of them would look at each other as if to say, "Does anyone see you?" Then they left. Thus God has diverted their hearts, for they are people who do not comprehend. Out of all the verses in the Quran to add 2 verses to, they decided to put it after this. There's even hadith that Uthman said, "Look, if these were 3 verses, we would have made it its own surah." This is not 2 arbitrary verses. These are not 2 verses that are randomly selected within the Quran. These are 2 verses for 1400 years. People have had issues, problems. There's been major red flags with. What the Quran's mathematical structure tells us is, look, you can say without any doubt, these 2 verses do not belong inside this Quran. Fabrications that were added to the Quran. This is the function of the miracle. No different than I could tell the difference between Basatan with a sin and Basatan with a Sa'ad. No different than I can tell a layl with 2 lams or a layl with 3 lams. No different than I can say Tagaluna or Yagaluna. Right? This is the level of sophistication we're dealing with. Praise God. I mean, this is something that you would think as a believer, saying this is the word of God handed down to us in a physical scripture, we would be absolutely enthralled in. But what do we see? The vast majority of Muslims literally pissing this thing away, calling it magic, using the very terminology that God uses in the Quran that says this is what the disbelievers are going to say when they're presented with this. They're going to count, they're going to evaluate, and they're going to say this is but clever magic. This is human made.
Yeah. Right, but I mean, like the verses itself. I mean, they didn't, like the fact that it's not like they sneaked in something that is against the religion.
Okay, let's look at them. Let's look at what they say. Okay. Surah 9 129. You're right. It's a copy and paste. It's literally like a copy and paste of the other surahs. What about 9 128? Okay. There's major red flags, and I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to point one out, okay? There's an expression that's used in this towards the Prophet, okay? Let me pull up the verse. Okay. It says, "There certainly has come to you a messenger from among yourselves. Grievous to him is what you suffer. He's concerned over you to the believers, is kind, merciful." Okay. Now there's numerous linguistic issues with this verse. I just want to point out one thing. Look at the last 2 words that are used in this surah. Like, can you read that in Arabic?
I'm not sure. Like
Rauf, Rahim.
Rahim, yeah.
Rauf, Rahim. 8 times in the Quran, this expression, exactly as specified in this verse, is used exclusively for God alone. Okay, 8 times. You will not find another individual giving 2 names of God in this format throughout the entire Quran. Okay, except this is applied supposedly towards the Prophet, right? That he's called Rauf Rahim. Again, you could say like that's just strange. You're using the names of God in this exact same mechanism where you see the last 2 attributes in a verse that are basically attributed to God being applied to a human being We have no precedent of that in the
Yeah,
Quran.
but the
You could say, no. Would you use two names of God in this format,
well,
right? Towards a
the
human?
the attribute to God would be the most kind and the
No.
most
Rauf
merciful.
Rahim.
So
Again,
that's different
Rauf
there.
Rahim is used 8 times in the Quran towards God. The verses. Right? If you look, even 9:117, God has redeemed the prophet and the immigrants, the muhajirin, those who host them and gave them refuge, who followed him during the difficult times. That is when the hearts of some of them almost wavered, but he has redeemed them, for he is compassionate, Rauf, towards them, most merciful, Rahim. Again, the Arabic is Rauf, Rahim.
Right, but most merciful, most, you know.
No.
Again, I don't. Well, I mean, I see your
No,
point,
not.
man. But I don't see the
Show me one
this as
other
a flag
occurrence.
because somebody else is called merciful. I mean, there's
No.
it's
It's not just
not
that they're called
contradicting
merciful.
anything.
It's
That's
this
the thing.
specific style. Listen. It's not just that they're called merciful. Anyone can be merciful. Anyone can be Rauf Rahim. It's this specific style where you have the last two attributes that are basically ascribed to God being ascribed to a human being. We don't have that in the Quran.
But
Right?
there's another place where merciful's been used. I'm assuming.
It says, of all the merciful ones, he is the most merciful, right? It says
I
that
don't
Muhammad is
recall,
merciful
but
towards the
yeah.
people. No, I'm just telling you, like, look, that's fine. Anyone can be merciful, but what I'm saying specifically is this pattern, right? Where you have the last two attributes in a verse. You see the attributes of God. You will never see these same attributes anywhere in the Quran apply towards a human being.
When
In this format.
from they invariably refer to God like Ghafur Rahim or like
Rahman Rahim,
whatever.
right?
It's just combination. Combination attributes are always referred to God. Is that? I think that's what he's saying, right? This is combination of
Look,
attributes.
anyone who reads the Quran sees this pattern, right? The last two names that are used are always basically names of God. You'll never see these same names being used in this same order as the last two attributes towards a human being. We can look at other aspects of why these verses are suspect. You know, the word azizun, right? Azizun that they translate as grievous. This word, the root of it occurs some 128 times in the Quran. Okay, every single time it's in the context of someone of power, someone who, like, say, for instance, Aziz is translated as Almighty. Except for this one occurrence, it's used to mean grievous. These kind of red flags, again, are just reasons that people are like, okay, this is suspect. It doesn't match. It doesn't correspond with the rest of the style of the Quran.
Yeah, but the thing about these verses, as you pointed out, I mean, this wasn't something new. I mean, people, we knew about it. You know, people were there is, you know, like procedure and everything. Like, you know, they were talking about like what happened with those. You know, so those two verses, we know that they only had one witness. I mean, so again, I am not sure how Nighting is somehow revealing this as
Bro, if after all this, if that's still your opinion, I don't know what to tell you. But
it's
you're
not,
lost.
because think about, like, you showed me like 9 words, you know, that they sum up to 19. They're words. I mean, at the end of the day, they're just there's no correlation with these,
think of
right?
this. Okay. Stop. Think of this,
Mhm.
right? We showed you, because your argument was like you're arbitrarily picking stuff. Nothing we presented to you is arbitrary, right? Everything
How
is a
so?
fixed parameter. Let me finish. Okay, the letters are fixed, the numbers are fixed, the surah is fixed, the book is fixed, the verses are fixed, right? We have multiple recitations. It all corresponds with this one recitation. All these things kind of lock into place, and you're going to say, oh, you know what? Well, it's not a big deal. This is no different than looking at Mount Rushmore and saying, look, these faces, they're not the faces of Benjamin and Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and Sam Adams. These are just the wind and erosion. No one created this. You're looking too much into this. To me, this is the whole concept. In Surah 74, where it says the disbeliever, he's going to evaluate this. He's going to count this. He's going to say, this is but clever magic. This is human made. Your claim is that, look, we're just arbitrarily selecting this. Please do the same thing with the number 23. Do the same thing with the number 17. If this is just, again, magic, we just arbitrarily are pulling these
Well,
combinations.
I
Please,
can actually
do the same thing.
I could actually show you that.
But I mean, that's the challenge, right? Because if you say that you can create a Quran like this, right, then you should be able to create a mathematical structure like this. Please use this Quran, use the number 17, use the number 23.
Is someone talking?
No.
Oh, sorry. So, all right. So, saying like, can we prove this with some other numbers? So the link that I was posted is, since I don't speak Arabic, so I can't go myself and try to count things. That would be like a really tedious job to do.
You don't need to speak Arabic, bro. We'll give you the tool.
Somebody else did this, right? Somebody else did it. They posted it and they counted every letter in every verse, in every chapter, basically. There's 114 surahs. There's all the letters, and they summed it up. And I use this to actually see your pattern. And like I'm saying, that's why I was talking initially when we just started this conversation earlier. I was looking through the like initials to see where they actually add up with 19, and some of these claims that you guys are presenting, I don't see them. And I'm not gonna go and say like, oh yeah, this website that I found is 100% true.
No, look,
I'm not gonna say that.
To make it simple
but,
for you, I pasted basically a link, right? You can look at any surah and look at any of the initials and see the corresponding counts. Right? This is something that, in essence, like, look, no one's disputing the counts of Ghuf in Surah 42 and Surah 50 is 57. No one's disputing that the counts of Ain Sin Ghuf is 209 in Surah 42. No one's disputing the counts of Hamim in Surahs 40 through 46 is 2147. These are undisputable facts. The question only comes down to, is this coincidence or is this design?
But hold right there. Okay, so you mentioned only a few of those. The rest of them are questionable, correct?
No. The only one that, in essence, is really comes down to being questioned is only Aleph, and the reason is because Aleph is a consonant and a vowel. Again, the whole function of the mathematical structure of the Quran is the fact that we can determine, okay, which one is the correct spelling.
We should be able to easily count, right? I mean, I'm not sure why would that be a problem, but so you mentioned Aleph, and Aleph is initial to so many of these, which means we can like we can rule them out already.
Oh, if you want to reject it, by all means you can.
Well, I'm not rejecting it. See, that's the thing. This is the data. I'm going by data, sir. I mean, it's like,
bro, you're going by, in all honesty, everything that we throw at you, you're just saying, oh, it's a coincidence. It's a coincidence. Okay, it's not a big deal. It's like, again, this is literally the claim that the disbeliever makes that God tells us in the Quran. And it's fine. Hey, if you don't accept it, that's cool. It's no sweat off my back. But it's just funny. It's like, look, you can go and validate.
It's not funny. It's like, see, you don't want to listen to what I'm trying to say. Like, so
again, I'm sorry, but you're speaking out of ignorance. That's the thing.
I'm not.
Saying,
I'm actually using the data. I'm actually using the real data, sir.
What data?
I just posted it, like like I'm saying, like everybody, somebody
No, I mean,
did
you go through? No. Sorry. Did you actually go through this text and validate this?
Did you?
Then, right? Jump in, jump out. Yeah, I did actually, because I have.
You did.
Published. No. I'm telling you, I published the text with the corresponding counts.
You actually pointed out the same thing, that Aleph is questionable. So you're already claiming. I mean, you're already
it's
conceding that is the questionable thing.
I'll give you an example. Okay.
Yeah.
When Moses went and parted the sea. Okay. There's geologists. They say, look, this was just a coincidence. Why are you guys reading into this? This was a geological event. It was bound to happen. Right? A believer looks at this and says, what was the probability that this happened at the time when Moses and the children of Israel were fleeing Pharaoh? They pass on dry land and Pharaoh and his troops are drowned. So you can take the side that, oh, this is a mere coincidence. You guys are looking too much into this. This is just a geological event. Or you can understand that, like, no, this is God's system. God always creates these caveats for someone who wants to disbelieve. You want to focus on the Aleph? Hey, by all means, go ahead. Right? The reality is, when it comes to these, again, when it comes to all the other initials, you have a choice. You could either accept in the sense that, hey, look, at least for these ones, it's solid. The number of surahs in the Quran, the number of verses in the Quran, right? All these facts, the number of
There's not a whole lot
words
left.
in the Quran.
That's my point. My point is
Dude,
there's not a whole
there's
lot left.
volumes and volumes. Look,
When you
Allah
take
occurs
out,
2000
when you take,
let me
when you
finish.
take
Allah
out
occurs
Aleph,
2,698 times. That's a multiple of 19. Al-Rahman occurs 57 times. That's a multiple of 19.
what is
Al-Rahim,
that? What does that
114
tell you?
times.
What does that tell you? It's
The
just a
opening
word that
statement. No. You're gonna say it's arbitrary. Look, Bismillah
Because it
ar-Rahman ar-Rahim,
is.
19 letters. Okay, that's funny. If you think that
No, it's not
God,
funny, sir. I mean,
God
that's
choosing,
the
no,
thing.
God choosing Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, using specifically 19 letters, not 20, not 21, not 22, specifically 19 letters, that these words occur within this given scripture, multiples of 19, is all just a matter of coincidence. Hey, by all means, if that's the route you want to go, hey, enjoy it.
But you, at the end of the day, you have to have some kind of criteria. Otherwise, it is just a random thing. I
After
know I
everything you've
sound
seen-
really bad, like
No.
I'm,
If
you know.
everything you've seen, if in all honesty you still think that it's a coincidence, that's fine, man. It's cool. Like look, there is a reason that people are gravitating towards this, and there's a reason that certain people are
they're not
blind to
taking
it.
because they're taking somebody else's word for it.
No.
If you
This
do
is a
the
fact.
study, sir, if you do the study, if you then you're gonna see that it happens. It's
you're
gonna
gonna
happen
find-
with any other number.
Do
You just
it.
have to start looking for it.
Please
Then
do it
show
with
it.
17. Do it with 23.
Okay.
Please.
All right. Here's what I'm gonna show you, sir. All right. So with the data that I have, that I showed you, since I didn't have any other data, right? So let's assume that it's half true. At least it's half true because, and here's the reason why. Because with that data that I used, I have Kaf, Noon, and I have Ein, Sin, Kaf that do count to 19, right? Multiple of 19. So there's something correct about the data. So I can't just say you can't just say oh, it's a crap in and crap out. I mean, I'm sorry, because I can say the same thing for your if you're gonna go that far, man, right? So let's say that it's half true, right?
No. I mean, look. Okay, pick. So say.
Are you?
Tossing
Can you just say okay, it's at least half true what I have as far as they look at it. I mean, you can click the link and look
the
at it.
aspect is this. It's like, look,
Yeah.
is there going to be areas that in essence people are going to chip away? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, dude, you will not find two mushafs, right, that have the same spelling of Aleph to date, right? It doesn't exist. The only time that in essence you're able to get consistency was in 1924 when they create the canonized version, the King Fahd version of the Quran. Did you know that?
I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure how is any of this relevant.
No.
I mean,
what do you mean? Because the whole concept is, look, the dispute is regarding Aleph, right? And I'm telling you, look, you grab any mushaf prior to 1924, okay? That's not that far ago. No two mushafs are going to basically have the same spelling when it comes to Aleph. So if you're saying that, look, yeah, people are going to basically poke holes in that, yeah, by all means, they are. Right? But if that's reason enough to say everything else you're just going to discard, it's like, look, God has given you this out. He's given you enough rope.
Okay.
If you want to go down that path, you're more than welcome to.
Well,
but in all honesty, what you're doing is you're disregarding all these other things that are indisputable.
I'm not, but because this is a big one. I mean, I looked the data that you presented.
Do you believe that Bismillah
and to me, the initials was something that caught my eye. Other stuff really didn't, to be honest. Let's just be honest here, right? It really, I didn't see nothing significant, to be honest. I'm not, and this is just me talking, right?
I mean, it's fine if that's your testimony on the day of judgment. Hey, if you're confident with that,
that's
go
fine.
with it.
So let me go over this. So I took like I'm saying, luckily I was able to find, set of data that counted all the letters. I took them and I was like, okay, let's see what's going on here. So I got everything and I tried to, see what matches, and I only found 3 of these that actually match what you were saying.
Which one doesn't match? So does Yasin match?
Yasin, for some reason, it didn't match.
Go pull up the actual, say for instance, a King Fahd version of
the Yasin matches. I've confirmed that.
No doubt that it matches, right? That's what I'm telling you. If your source is telling you it doesn't, your source is wrong.
I used
that's fine.
or on in matches.
Yeah, but I bet you that's because here
I'm just
they
saying, any
counted.
Tom, Dick, and Harry can go and pull up some text of the Quran and then run this regression. This isn't a challenge, right? The question is, what's that text that you're pulling from? Start there. Start with the King Fahd version, right, of the canonized version from Cairo, 1924, and see if you can basically match this. Because I'm telling you, if they don't have the right Yasin for Surah 36, then they're not using the right text.
Which surah is this? 50, 36?
36.
36.
I'm just curious, while he's pulling this up, I'm just curious, how much composition or structure do we need to demonstrate to show that there is a deliberate design? I mean, realistically.
I'm trying to show you that there isn't actually, because
I
like
get
I
that.
think,
If
you take
believe me,
okay,
I
okay, all
understand
right.
that loud and
Let's
clear.
look at it. Let's look
how
at it this
much
way.
structure? Hold
Yeah.
on. Just figure out that y'all seen. Let me just make a point. It's not just for you. I'm talking for everyone here. How much structure must be demonstrated to show that there is a deliberate design? Because I'm pretty sure we don't need to even go through every single component, every single aspect. We can establish a deliberate design with much fewer facts, much fewer statistics and data to establish a design. Question is, what is the threshold?
The criteria. You need to set the correct criteria that actually doesn't break. That's important fact, right? So to show you what I was trying to get out of this, right? So let's say this Quran, this is maybe, let's say it's not it's something else. So that's why it didn't count to exact stuff. So I'll take this Quran, for example. And if I look, because I did these numbers, so 19 shows up as a multiple of, as multiple of 19, like in 80 surahs. So 80 of them. That's a big number.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like you're just kind of arbitrarily selecting stuff.
What are you talking about? 19.
It's same what you guys were doing. That's the
What are
thing.
you saying?
You're taking the whole Quran.
Stop. Time out. Hey, Static. Look, honestly,
yeah.
if this is such a joke, if this is such,
It's not a joke.
a total waste of time, please, just stop the conversation. Go do this with the number 17 or 23.
Let me do it.
Come back.
We can have the number. Give me the number. 17.
Do 17 or 23. Your choice.
17 shows up 86 times. 23
No,
shows up 69 times.
Give me a definitive argument back that the Quran's no, bro. Go give me a definitive argument back that the Quran is based on the number 17, please. Because we didn't show you one parameter, right? We showed you numerous parameters. We showed you basically the whole purpose of this is to be able to detect anomalies. If your mechanism can't detect anomalies, it's utterly useless. That's the whole point. Show me in essence that this can happen with the number 17.
I just don't get it. So the first chapter revealed is 19 verses. Last chapter revealed is 19 words. First revelation is 19 words. First revelation is 76 letters, 19 times 4. The first chapter revealed is 304 letters, 19 times 16.
Okay.
Last chapter revealed is a multiple 19. The first verse of almost every chapter is 19 letters.
And
right, number of chapters, number of surahs, right? I mean, keywords.
That makes actually something. That's something meaningful to you. Seriously, because this is just a random thing.
Finding the whole point, Static. If it's not meaningful, do the
19.
same thing with 17. This is the whole point.
Exactly. Look, you can actually. If you look deeper, you're gonna find it.
I'm talking.
I'm showing
put
you.
It together. No,
I'm
you're
actually
not.
showing you that.
No, bro,
I am.
Look,
Guys, chill out.
Because you're actually not listening what I'm trying to say. You just, you keep talking.
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. You keep saying this is a random thing, and we're saying show it, demonstrate it.
I am showing
you. Listen to me. It's been 50 years. Okay, there's been a number of people that dedicated their lives to opposing this. It's been 50 years. If it worked with 17, we would know about it by now. Because you're saying it's a very simple, just a random selection. You could just find patterns in any direction. So
that's exactly what happened with 19. That's exactly what happened with
The
Red
issue
Bull.
is the issue is, well, let me just make a comment quickly. The issue is it's not as like arbitrary as picking a number and coming up with a miracle for it. They've been dealt their hand with 19. Like they didn't choose like 19 or 17 or 23. They were dealt the hand of 19.
You can
And
pick
that's
any
what
number,
was to
man.
be
That's the
demonstrated.
point. You can pick
No, but
any number, and
but
you're gonna
the point
find
is they can't. No, but the
relationship
point is they
with.
can't because the basis they use is chapter 74, and that only indicates one number, right? So they
No,
didn't like pick any number they wanted to pick, right?
it has
So
nothing to do with anything. It has
hold on,
it
but
has to
you-
do with
Al
images.
Mudakir, the hidden secret, happens to contain the private key, sorry, the public key necessary for us to validate that this Quran is definitively from God. You're saying, oh, it's a mere coincidence. It's silly. It's like, dude, I'm giving you the benefit
not
of the doubt.
silly,
I'm
sir.
giving
I
the
mean,
benefit of the doubt. Look, I'm not even going to expect that the Quran contains the number, right? Use the number 17 or 23 and replicate this. If it's so easy, then
It's
show
not
me
gonna
that. Look,
replicate identical thing, but it's gonna replicate
no,
something
give me
completely
something
different.
comparable. Give me something
That's-
comparable.
Doesn't need to be identical. You need to have some kind of composition the way we're describing it to you. We're saying first
I'm
chapter,
trying
last
to
chapter.
present it to you. I'm trying to present this
Please
to you.
do it.
Oh,
Do
you,
it.
okay.
How can you? No, stop.
Here.
I'm not going to waste my time with you on the whim trying to come up with some mechanism because you're looking at some site and just doing some quick calculations. Have some respect. Go
Because-
write an article. Go make a PDF. Do something to show that. Look,
I did. I actually, this is Excel. I'm working on Excel. I mean, I have it here.
you're doing it as you're talking to us. Give me a
No,
break,
it's all
bro.
done. I mean, all I have to do enter the number, and it's gonna spit me how many surahs have multiple of 19s for those initials. It's any surah. It doesn't matter. See, you picked. You actually dedicated these initials to be special. I'm just saying any surah, and it gives me numbers. I mean, it's like
Okay, how many?
I don't see
okay,
nothing
how many
special.
of those initials? Okay, how many of those initials occur in the chapters and multiples of 17? Tell us.
Okay, so 17, right? All
It
right.
has to be
So
above. That's the thing.
So
Is it has to
Aleph
be
Lam
above the
Mim happens
statistical.
in 6 surahs. Aleph Lam Mim Sad happens in 9 surahs. Aleph Lam Ra
Bro,
happens in
slow
4
down,
surahs.
slow down,
Aleph
slow
Lam
down,
Mim
slow
Ra
down.
happens in 7 surahs. If I can continue.
Slow down. Give me one. Just give me one. That's all I'm asking.
Okay, which one? Just which one?
Give me how. So what are you doing exactly? Like again, what you're talking
I'm
about?
doing
you're on some
exactly the
spreadsheet.
same calculation like you're doing, sir.
So if
it's
you
like-
think that what you're doing is anything remotely to what I presented to you, then I just wasted an hour of my life.
The issue is static. Static issue is ignoring the point I made is that they didn't, or say Rashad, that he didn't choose the number 19, right? Like, and
He
chose
did.
the
He
like
found
he
it.
didn't.
He
One second,
found
one
it in
second,
Quran, man. And he
one
was
second,
like, well, let me actually try to figure what I can do with this number.
one second,
That's
one
what he
second, one
did.
second. No, one second. No, so he didn't have like a list of numbers from like 1 to 20 or 1 to 30, and he went through them and tried to figure out which one is the one that adds up, or which one like is the one that corresponds with this like idea he had in his head.
You
It
know how
wasn't
many
like a
times he made the corrections?
1 second.
2
I
times.
understand. That's fine. That's fine. I understand.
Well,
But I'm saying
that
is
points you that what he was doing, man, that it wasn't something revealed and said,
okay.
like,
That's
yeah, it's
fine.
right there.
Okay, that's fine. That's no problem. Okay, but
Okay.
I'm just saying that like Rashad, he didn't like go around like testing all the numbers and checking out like which one works and testing all these like 17, 23. What he was just
But you
dealt
don't
the
know
hand
what he
of
was
19,
doing,
and
right?
he went
You
with.
don't know what he was doing because he
I know
entered that
we
in the
we
computer.
no, once we do know because have no.
No, you have no clue, man. Like, do you have his program that he was running?
Actually, there was no program at that point because we were talking about 19.
No, there
1980.
was. Yeah, he had a computer. That's exactly what he was doing. He entered that in a computer.
Yeah, but why would you make that in the computer
Okay.
at that time?
Okay, so a few verses were put. They're really amazing. In chapter 74, okay, which is talking about the hidden secret, code number 19. Okay, a secret vision God for Satan the rejected. Name of God, most gracious, most merciful. 74:11 says, "Let me deal with one I created as an individual. I provided him with lots of money and children to behold. I made everything easy for him, yet he is greedy for more. He stubbornly refused to accept these proofs. I will increasingly punish him." To me, this is what
I
I'm
do not
witnessing.
need those
I'm
verses
witnessing.
to tell me, like,
I'm witnessing God's prophecy right before my eyes. I mean,
oh
this is
my
strengthening
God,
my
that's
faith.
silly.
Really,
That is
no,
silly,
it's
man.
really,
We're talking
really.
about math. We're not
No.
talking about like religion right now.
No. This is
let's be
religion,
serious.
bro.
Let's be
Listen
serious.
to me. Listen to me. I want suspected to recognize this. If this
No,
chapter is, listen to me. Hold on.
I can
If
say
this
same thing for
chapter,
you.
what proofs are you providing me? If this chapter is suspected, I want you to testify. Oh, it's suspected already left. Oh, no, he's
No, I'm
here.
here. I'm here.
Suspected. If this chapter is talking about code 19 and it says he stubbornly refused to accept his proofs, is this not exactly what's happening right now? He's been extremely stubborn. He wouldn't even consider
Of
that
course,
code
all of
19
you are gonna
exists.
say that. Do you believe in this? I mean, so it's
It's
same.
not about
I mean, no.
believing.
I mean,
It's
no.
it's the
I
same
don't
thing
though.
if you bring
No,
somebody from Christian, he's
Bro,
gonna talk
you're
about
no,
Bible.
but that's why you're wrong. Wait 1 second. That's why you're wrong because I literally don't believe in it, and I'm still like I'm making a valid point. You know? Like, see,
What
that's why
point
you're
you
completely
making?
wrong. See, you just made an assumption and just fell apart.
Let him say it.
What are you talking about?
Let him say it.
You're saying just because we all believe in it, whatever you guys believe in it, that's why you're saying this. But I don't believe in it.
And
And what you're
what's
trying
your
to say?
point?
Yeah.
He's saying
I'm
that
trying to.
someone that doesn't even believe in it is not being as stubborn as you. You have to be very special to reach your
Come
level
on.
of stubbornness.
Come on, man.
Really? Yes, really.
I did the
Really?
math. I'm not stubborn. I'm
You
doing the
didn't do
math.
any
I'm trying
math.
to
You
see
didn't
where
do.
the
You
miracle
didn't.
lies.
He's
Listen, you
literally
didn't.
saying this is magic. This is human made. That's literally what he's doing,
For you
right? He
to say to
reflected.
me
He
that I'm
measured.
stubborn.
Miserable is what he measured.
Most
Miserable
of these
indeed is what he
people
measured.
here actually
He looked.
believe
He
in
found.
everything
He
what you
won.
guys are saying without actually doing it for themselves to prove it.
You know, the miracle, everyone has to agree with it. But right now, we're not agreeing with the miracle. So hence, it's not a miracle. Plus, it's just a number. There is
What?
many
What?
Wait, did
more.
you say
What?
that
I
was
can
the
give
best
you, give
syllogism?
me any
The
number,
best
man.
syllogism
Give
of
me
the year,
any
bro.
number. I'll tell you how many times it shows up as a multiple.
Did,
Any
did you just
number.
say
Please,
just because people
stop.
disagree that it's a miracle
Wait.
means it's not a miracle? What?
Yeah, that was. I'm sorry. I had
The
to mute
best
you for that.
syllogism
I'm
of
sorry, my Chan. I had
2022,
to
bro.
mute you. I had to mute you. You can't just say stuff like that. Like that's just ridiculous. Like no one here even believes that. Not even one person believes
Oh,
that.
come on. He didn't say nothing bad. I mean, you don't have to
No,
mute him.
no, he's saying.
We
He's saying. What? He's saying that
He did not
if
insult
everyone
anybody,
doesn't
right?
Yeah, no,
he
you don't
insulted
have to mute him. You
everyone
don't have
else
to
there.
mute him. You don't have to mute him. You don't have to mute him.
Oh,
Gotta go
he said
poop.
this. He
Adam?
said that if everyone doesn't believe in this, then therefore cannot be a miracle. That was his claim.
Well, same thing for the verse. You're saying like everybody is like seeing this. Not everybody's seeing it.
Static.
I think that's what he was trying to say.
Oh,
Maybe.
this is
I don't know. I
fine.
may be
On
wrong.
the day of judgment, you want to stand before your creator and say, look, I rejected your miracle. I rejected your messenger. I rejected your
Yes.
proofs. Hey, that's fine.
Whoa,
You know, we each have our testimony we're going to basically be carrying.
That's a
If you're
big one, man.
confident in
That's a
that,
big one. I'm not
again,
rejecting anything. I believe in Quran.
this is what
That's
it comes
simple
down
and-
to on the day of judgment, right? You're going to basically be, we're all going to be standing
So that's a
independently in front of our
fear-mongering, man.
creator. And we're going to have to basically testify to this. If you're comfortable in that position, hey, okay, God willing, it's the best for you. Right?
That's a
aspect is-
fear-mongering, man. Don't do that kind of stuff.
No, this isn't fear mongering. This is a reality. Do you believe you're going to die? Do you believe you're going to be held accountable before your Lord? Yes, absolutely. We all have to believe this with absolute certainty. Right? If you want to say that this whole thing of over is 19, that this is in al-mudathir, that God is going to disprove the disbeliever by showing them that this Quran is from God. If you say this is all gibberish, it's all human made, it's nonsense, it's magic. Look, that's your testimony you're going to carry with you on the day of judgment.
That's
and
too
if you're
much,
comfortable
man.
with that, hey, go
That's too much.
for it.
Because if you think God actually gave us some kind of a code that we now have to like, 104, 4,400 years after, to be debunked and whatnot, like isn't it the most important part is like what Quran is telling us what to do. Has nothing to do with the number. And
guys,
I
one at a
proved it.
time. Guys, one at a time. One at a time.
we also
You know-
have to like give the people the freedom to like reject and disbelieve.
Well, the thing of it is, it's like I'm saying. I mean, it was interesting to me. Yeah, that's why I spent time to actually look into this.
Funny,
Like,
I'm
well,
glad
that's-
you had entertainment.
If you have
believe-
anything, how about this? If you show us anything remotely similar in any book in all of history, which is really interesting, you're saying the only occurrence of this fake
I showed you.
magic phenomenon. No, you didn't show us anything.
I showed you.
You're saying. Hold on a second. You're saying the only time in all of human recorded history we have anything like this is when Rashad Khalifa fabricated this Code 19 mechanism. There's never been a precedent for it. No one's ever done anything similar. We have a billion times more superior softwares than the time of Rashad. And if this is a magic thing, this is just some illusion, hallucinations. So
Yeah.
show us. In all of human history, nothing remotely similar in any way has occurred that we can observe in this regard.
Because
and you have nothing.
because
have
you have
nothing.
to you have to look at it like if you talk to any see, you already made a claim that you talk to some kind of a mathematician. If you talk to the true mathematician, and if he's not gonna be serious about this, you know, that's the problem. That's a number one thing. He's gonna reject it because he's gonna tell you like
mathematicians.
Bro,
I dealt with a mathematician at U of T once, so I know what you're trying to say.
Fake mathematician.
okay, what are you
not
trying?
true mathematician.
What did they tell you? What did they tell you?
bro,
True
listen to me.
mathematician.
Bro,
Is that a
listen to
certificate?
me.
I'm one of these. I'm one
No,
of
I
these. fake
presented it at U of
mathematicians.
T.
And they laughed.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I want
No,
Zailura to speak.
Mike,
We
didn't
have
please tell
understand
me
it.
what
Zailura
happened.
here. Wait. We
They didn't
have
understand
Zailura
it.
here.
Exactly.
She's-
Exactly.
They called
because
because they called it
Listen
they called it numerology, which it wasn't.
exactly.
And then we showed them
That's exactly what
54-1
it is.
and they were stumped.
What did you
Then
show
we
them?
showed them 54-1 because there was a big debate that happened after, and they were quite stumped. They were quite disturbed by it because they realized, oh wow, that's pretty significant. And then I started showing them more stuff. People who were interested
What is
afterwards.
54-1? I'm not sure what you mean.
Just many aspects. There's multiple things in the Quran that are miraculous
Okay.
things that are numerical that aren't necessarily with 19, but there's a lot of things in the Quran that
Like-
are great. And not just that, but 19 is more than just the initials. This is what I think a lot of people seem to forget. There are many
exactly.
parameters. Right?
Exactly. You're right.
Mike,
You're
let
right
me ask
about that,
something.
sir.
Static, really quick.
Yes.
Have you read
No.
the Quran from cover to cover in a language you understand?
See, this is just an attack on a personal.
It's a simple
base.
question. It's a simple question.
Seriously,
the
man.
Quran? Hey,
You know, let's talk about math, man. I mean, I can show you what I
Straightforward
did.
They wanted to see a
Static,
proof
static.
like E equals MC squared,
Hey, Mike,
and they
stop,
wouldn't
stop, stop.
acknowledge.
Please.
Exactly,
Static,
sir,
answer the
because you
question,
need
please.
criteria. You
No,
can't just
Static, please
randomly pick
answer the
number
question.
19.
Static,
I've been
please
doing
answer the
that. I
question.
can show you guys.
Static. I'm gonna unmute you. Please answer the question. Have you read the Quran from cover to cover in a language you understand?
Yes.
You read the Quran from a cover to cover in a language you understand. God
If
be
you
our
ask
witness.
if you ask me 10 times, maybe I'll say no.
So what's the answer?
I already answered, so there's no point to asking me like
No,
2 or
well,
3
give an
times.
answer. You're avoiding the question. Just
I answered
swear
it
to God.
specifically. I said it yes, so I'm not sure why you're asking me twice.
Okay, so okay. No, then it's look.
But
if you just
seriously,
say
man,
yes,
you asked me twice for no reason. There's
You
no
didn't
reason
answer
to
it.
do that kind of thing.
you didn't answer. It's very
Yes, I
simple.
did.
I don't know why you're ashamed. You know, if it's truthful,
I'm
then
not
hey,
ashamed.
fine.
I said clearly yes, but even if I didn't, let's say I didn't, but I said yes. Even if I didn't, it had nothing to do with anything. What are we doing here? We're
If
doing
you
math.
think so, if you genuinely think so, that shows kind of where you're coming from. You believe it. You're
Man,
not
see,
a
you're
child,
attacking
right?
me. No,
You're not a child.
Don't do
Look,
that kind of
you're
stuff,
not a
man.
child. You're an adult, right? If you believe this book is from God and it has the answers to all our questions regarding our salvation, but you never read it, right? What's that say about you?
Oh my God! See, you keep saying I never read it. I mean, where is this going?
I said if. Why are you getting
that's
offended?
not.
If you read it,
It's
bro,
simply not nice. All you're trying to do,
no.
like
Why are
you're
you
trying
getting
to belittle
Why are you
me
getting
for
so
no
worked
reason.
up? If you read it, this shouldn't offend you.
No, because I'm telling you, I said yes, and then you asked me again, did I do it? Cover
Hey,
to
no.
cover. Like I don't understand what
I'm
that
not
means.
denying you. Why are you getting so worked up? If you read it, you read it.
Because you asked me twice, sir.
I asked you more than twice, actually. I had to mute
Exactly.
you to get the
Yeah,
answer.
exactly.
I'm just saying, like, look, I'm just saying, if you're an adult, okay, and you believe that this Quran is from God, and you're coming onto the server to argue and debate with us, if you never read it, what does that say about your faith?
Right. Yeah. No.
Okay. Now, if you're saying that doesn't matter, that says more about your understanding of the Quran and this religion and the seriousness you take it than what I would expect.
Right. Think about this now. You present this to atheist,
I
and
did,
he was
actually.
like, "Well, you know what? If this is true, I'm gonna believe in it." So he goes there and does exactly the same thing like I do, and he presents this to you. Are you gonna say that to him? To say like, you know what? You don't believe in Quran, so I can't take anything what you did. All the work that you did, I'm just gonna ignore
You're
it. Is
claiming
that what you're gonna say?
You claim no. Look, I actually gave a presentation to this back in college, freaking like 20 years ago, to the atheist community. So I know exactly what it's like. But the thing is, are you
But
an
why
atheist?
did you make that comment? I don't
Are you an
understand. What was the point
Are
of
you an
that?
atheist? Because I want to know the seriousness you take this religion. Because you're
Oh.
so quick to basically dismiss this stuff.
I didn't.
And the
I
fact
made
that
a.
you're
I
saying,
made a.
no, no,
I
and the
did.
fact that you're
Oh
saying that
my
it's not a
God.
big deal if someone is a grown adult who grew up in this religion not to have read this book. Because I'm not talking, unless you're going to claim you're an atheist. Are you an atheist?
I'm actually, I did a lot of, well, I wouldn't say a lot of work, but I mean I did some work, man. I mean to actually see for myself what's going on.
No, no,
And that's
more
what I'm
than
trying
that,
to
that's the
tell
thing is,
you.
this is the
I
thing.
don't see
You're not going
nothing
to get to the
special
right
about
answer.
19.
Bro, you're not going to get to the right answer with God, right, without being sincere.
Oh, no,
That's a
we're just
requirement.
talking about math. We're not talking about is what's
Because I'm
Quran is
genuinely
telling us,
perplexed in
is
the
it
sense
true or
of the
not. I'm
fact that,
talking
look,
about the math that you're presenting here.
no, because
That's
you're
all I'm
literally
talking about.
you're basically playing out exactly what it says is going to happen by
Oh,
the
don't
disbelievers
pull
when
the
presented
verses
with it.
on me, man. No need to do that kind of stuff. We're talking
How are
about
you
math.
offended? Hey, if it doesn't apply to
And
you, you
what?
shouldn't be offended.
Yeah, I mean, what? Look,
because
look. This
you
either
don't want to
listen
actually
to me.
take,
Listen to
you
me.
don't
It
want to
either
dive deep
exists
into
or it
this.
doesn't. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're saying that there's no way whatsoever, in any chance in hell, that there's a mathematical composition based on number 19. This is your current position. I'm just telling you, we have people here that have been studying for months. They don't hold your position, and they don't even believe in code 19.
What did they
You're in a
study?
very advanced position, bro.
So I've been, like I'm saying, I've
This is
been
not a
doing.
casual position, because your position is, if this is a miracle and you reject God's miracle, then there's only one outcome.
Oh my God, man! If you
This is
think,
not a casual thing.
if you think God cares about some math 19, in a
Yes,
Quran,
God cares about his miracle.
no,
He
it doesn't.
definitely
Wait,
cares.
one
No,
second,
it
one
doesn't.
second, one
Don't.
second.
That's just.
God cares about every single last atom in the Quran. That's very in the universe, and that's clear in the Quran, right?
No. You believe your belief, sir. Your belief.
No, well, one
I'm not
second.
talking
No,
about like
one
every
second.
atom. Yes, he knows. But I'm
No. I'm
talking
not
about
just
like
talking.
what is
I'm not just talking about him knowing it. I'm talking about he cares about every single atom. Even the Quran says when it talks
right.
about the
That
provisions,
has
he's
nothing to
prevented
do with our belief. What do we need to actually? What do we need for salvation? Simple as that. If you think 19 is somehow important, then so be it.
Rejecting a miracle is not helpful to your salvation.
Okay, look. I agree with you that you don't need to believe. If let's say code 19 is a miracle, you don't have to believe in it to be saved. But if it's being presented to you, and it's proven to you to be a miracle and a sign by God, denying a sign sends you straight to hell. The Quran verse is very clear on this.
If
Quran
you
says
say
when you
so.
kadhib bi ayatillah.
Take heed.
No,
But
no,
here's
no,
my
no,
answer.
no.
Here's
Not
my
if I say
answer.
so. Not if I say so. Quran
Listen.
says we kadhib
Here's
bi
my
ayatillah.
here's my response. You did not prove me no miracle here, because
Bro,
I'm actually
listen.
showing you that there is no miracle.
That's what Pharaoh said.
Yeah, exactly. But the Pharaohs was not
Yeah.
reading the Quran.
But I think what I think is that miracles of all time, whether being magic
Numerology, man.
to Pharaoh or anything, there's no way that anyone that who doesn't believe could become a believer. Otherwise, you would not be here seeing it. It's always a test of faith. That means that a miracle is to strengthen the faith. But if there's no faith, nothing, no miracle coming down from the sky, they say, "Oh, this is some magic they're doing from behind." Because there are a lot of people doing magic. There are a lot of people turning the snakes to serpents. So if you see a snake, say this is. If you see it today, you say, "Oh, this is what do we call?"
This
You
is
know,
such a good point. Bro,
Let
you're
me
giving
let
such
me
a
computer
respond when
magic.
he's
Hold
done. Let me
on,
respond.
Hold
Let
on
me
a second.
respond when he's done.
Wait,
guys, let me finish.
Oh,
hold
come
on a
on.
second.
Guys, let me finish. Guys, let me
Go ahead.
finish. Yeah. So if you see that kind of magic today, that someone turns a stick to a serpent, you think, oh well, this is completely illusionist things, because they do this all stuff. This is their bread and butter. There's no magic at all, because so no one's going to be impressed by that today with the technology that exists. So there needs to be something that is verifiable and looks at it and people can verify it and see it for themselves. But in itself, if I say there's 20 elements, 50 elements, various elements leads to 19, and you're saying, oh, this is nothing, this is not enough for me because there's no mechanism or there's no structure to way that you imagined it. This is how it is, because Quran is not, it's not how it works. The miracle works in the sense that it gives you confidence that there's very elements that just builds confidence over and over in many various forms over the denominator being 19. And
Can
the
we?
number of verses, the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the Allah, the Ar-Rahman, and all that different words, and they all lead to the same thing. They all lead to the confidence that this book is from God, from someone who looks at it and evaluates that information. At the same time, it leaves room for someone who's skeptical, does not have any faith, and just wants to prove something wrong, leaves them actually exactly what they're looking for. It does not give you 100% foolproof. Otherwise, you would not be here. You would be in heaven, because you're here. That miracles give you confidence, but they will not give you faith. Miracle does not give you faith. Miracle increases the faith of the believers, but does not provide the disbelievers any faith. Those people who do not believe in anything, does not believe in God, really do not believe in it, when they see the miracle, they say, no, this is a whole bunch of numbers. Exactly what you're saying now. Honestly, this is how the mechanism of miracle worked all throughout the history in Quran. Any miracle you see, the disbeliever had an excuse for it. There was no miracle that all of the population that who saw it, so now we all believe. There was none. It happened with Pharaoh. It happened with Moses and Pharaoh. It happened with Jesus as well and the people around him. It happened with Noah and say the rain is coming. So you must be joking us. Everybody mocked the miracle. Everybody mocked the message, because that's the theme. That's the theme. And the miracle that came with it only instilled reverence for those who had faith, who had the initial faith. They saw something. They believe in Quran being a miracle, being from God. And then when they saw the miracle, they strengthened their heart. They went really reverent. As opposed to those who disbelieved it, they kind of disregarded it. Say, oh, okay, how about here? How about there? Oh, I prove this, I prove that. So there's no real argument here. But the point is that for anybody reasonable, looking at all the stuff, all the number 19 stuff in the Quran in various places and forms and shapes without structure, just questions a curious mind to say, what's going on here? What is this happening? How could this be coincidence over and over and over? How could you have so much coincidence? Otherwise, then I have to have this type of coincidence for other stuff as well. But if you can't find anything else that equals this one, then there's something here. Now, if you don't believe this is a miracle, that goes back to the same idea that could be a magic. The same claim that made generations over generation of when they saw something profound. They didn't believe it was a miracle. They said this was just a fabrication, just a magic. Something's gimmicky going on in the background. Someone made it up. So you can have your own theory about it, but you cannot deny what's been presented to you as facts. So if you don't agree with the facts, let's get to the details and we'll talk about them.
There are no facts here.
Brother Amin, can I just say something? This is
God.
you hit a very important thing. It's so beautiful, and it might not increase his faith, but this session definitely increased my faith, because I'm seeing God's revelations, His prophecy, God's words come to life. We read the Quran every day, but rarely do we see so beautifully, so perfectly aligned with reality every aspect of this kind of thing when it comes to a miracle. And you know what? Something's really beautiful also to say is that his reactions, his behavior is exactly what someone would do if they're rejecting God's miracle. Can someone show me otherwise? This is exactly how they react. This is exactly how they behave.
And even
perfectly.
Navid, even one last point I wanted to make is like kind of what actually I'm not sure who was speaking before, but what it reminded me of is like I was speaking to atheists like long ago, and like they were saying, oh, why doesn't God just show Himself? Why didn't say, oh, like open up like something from the sky and say, oh, look, I'm here, I'm God, I'm here, right? But then I like asked them, like, are you, like, if you really really think about it, like, would you really accept at that point, or like, because their skepticism would just make them say, oh, it's an illusion, or I have a mental illness, or something.
What is it called? Suspected. Listen to me.
Yeah.
How does someone in the Quran react to a miracle if they oppose it? Okay, they do exactly what he just says. They say this is magic, this is an illusion. Why is he saying it's not? I mean, that's exactly what you're supposed to say. It's magic, it's an illusion, you're playing with numbers, anyone can do this. You're doing literally what the Quran
You're
says
adding.
you're fulfilling.
This is just
listen
your
to me.
words, man. These are just your words.
What's my
There is
words?
there's nothing
What
in
do
the
you mean?
Quran to say like, hey, you know what? There's gonna be somebody.
Suspected, can you testify to this? Is he not behaving exactly as the Quran predicts?
Oh
Is this
God.
not exactly, literally word for word, his behavior has been dictated to us 1,400 years of the Quran to the T. I've never seen it this beautifully matched before.
Oh
And
God.
how is someone supposed to react if there's a miracle and they're
So
rejecting
people
it?
are listening to this and saying, yeah, this is.
Of
Come on,
course,
man. There's no
all of
need
our
to do
faith,
that because
believe me,
you're
all
just
of our
pumping up
faith.
your buddies. That's all you're doing
No, no,
here.
no, no,
But
no, no. Our
there
faith
is
is
no fact.
increasing.
There is
But
no fact.
static, I corrected you once again. Like you think this
You
whole
didn't.
VC is filled with people who believe no, you think this whole VC is filled up with people who believe in 19, but there's multiple people here who don't fully believe in like code 19, including me.
Yeah,
Right? So
man.
like he keeps saying, "Oh, like
But you can
I'm a
tell them
yes
you're
man, I'm
not.
a yes man," but I'm
Yeah,
not a yes man.
but
So,
the thing
so
is, there's
what's your
people.
point then?
Hold on,
What
stop,
is your
stop.
point?
The point is this. The point is this. There's people on the fence in this chat, okay? And they're listening to our arguments carefully, and they're listening to your arguments carefully.
Mhm.
And even though they're on the fence and they don't believe in Code 19, your arguments are pushing them away from your position. You're serving God.
I feel
Actually,
sorry for
you're
him then.
serving. You're serving God, and you're serving us by God's leave. And
How
I'm
about
pleased.
how about this? How
You're
about this?
serving me, and you're serving me and others because you're increasing our faith. Because we're seeing God's prophecy fulfilled
Oh
right
God.
before our eyes, and
No,
we
that's
love it.
great. That's great, guys. I mean, what can I say, right? Well, I do want to say one thing. See, if anybody that is on edge, even those that actually take this as a serious thing, do it. Go there and do it, and you'll see that this is just a random occurrences of 19, just like any other number.
Do what? What do you
That's
mean
what
do
you're
it?
gonna
Like,
see.
do what?
That's all you're gonna see, sir.
Do
And
what?
I
What do you
did
mean
it.
do it?
And I did it.
Salam alaikum. I have a question.
Just wow, random. That's
Ah,
The individual who's
give me the number. I'll
discussing.
show you how many times it happens in the Quran.
Excuse me. Salam alaikum. I'm asking from the gentleman with Amin K. Amin first name K. Are you the individual debating this right now, or is somebody else?
No, it's static. Static
It's like
XY.
5 people debating me.
5 people debating you. Okay, but how did you get in this server? Were you just signed up recently?
So
Huh?
so these things matter.
No. I just wondering. I want to know who you are because I have another friend who has your same initials. So I want to know if
Same
you are
initials.
my friend or no.
What do you mean same initials?
Okay, your first name is Amin.
Oh, whoa. You're not
He's,
okay.
I think you're
This
mixing up the people.
I
Static is
think
the
I'm
one who.
mixing up the people. That's why I'm asking him.
Yeah, so
What is your
Static is the
screen
one who's
name?
arguing against the mathematical miracle, saying that it's just a numerology.
Mhm.
Amin is basically saying that it's not.
So he is not. He wasn't in the conference, right?
Static? No, I don't
No.
think so.
Okay, good. I sign up, confuse you with somebody else, and I couldn't believe all this word coming out of his mouth. Is such a scary situation to be in. Anyway, thank you for the time. No comments.
No problem.
that was out of nowhere. Okay.
No, but
I was just
static.
saying. I think. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me what you think.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say like what exactly have you presented with like the number 17 or like the number 23 exactly like
Okay. So
you
what I was
said
doing.
you said you've done it but you still haven't presented it like I don't
Yeah.
understand.
All right. So, well, that's the thing, like, because you guys are, jumping and not letting me really finish. So I took that data that I found online that has all the counts for the letters in each surah, right? So I took that and basically made a spreadsheet and looking where this happens, like first with the number 19, right? And I only saw 3 instances. I didn't see anything with the
Three
Aleph or
instances
Nur.
where what? Explain. 3 instances where what?
So basically, Noon, Kaf, and Ein Sin Kaf are the 3 that do match not multiple of 19 in the surahs where they actually show up, right, as initials. The rest of them I couldn't get them. All right, so I was like, okay, so let's see what else I can find here. I mean, so I'm looking 19, for example. If you just look at every surah, So number 19, Alif Lam Mim, it shows up in 7 surahs. Alif Lam Mim Sad shows up in 8 surahs. Alif Lam Ra shows up in 7 surahs. Alif Lam Mim Ra shows up in 7 surahs. Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sad shows up in 10 surahs. Ta Ha shows up in 4 surahs. Ta Sin shows up in 3 surahs. Ta Sin Mim shows up in 8 surahs. Yasin shows up in 2. Essentially 80 of them.
How does Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sad show up in 10 surahs?
Because every surah, I'm talking about 114 surahs. I'm not talking about initials. I'm just looking all the surahs. And it happens. So I'm having
So if it's outside the initial chapters, why is it relevant?
that's the thing. You made it relevant. I'm saying like
No,
if
no,
you just do it
but
randomly, just
but
like
the
you
whole
did.
no, it's not random. Wait, it's
It is.
one
Like
second, one second.
it's arbitrary.
Okay,
You
one
just picked
second,
it with
one
the initials.
No,
right?
no, 1 second. No, 1 second, just 1 second. But if you have a surah and the surah is titled Qaf and the first letter is Qaf and like the whole gist of the surah is about Qaf and then it happens to be in that surah that the multiple is Qaf, multiple is 19. That's one thing. That's different than just you going to any other random surah and
You're
seeing how
making
many.
it to be significant. That's the thing. You're making it to be significant. That's and when you look at it that way, if you close your spectrum, then you're gonna see, oh my god, this is actually special. But if you just look at all the surahs, like all those letters happen like in every surah, well, they happen. Why? If there's something special, it should only happen in the ones that start up with the initials. But it doesn't. It just randomly happens as a probability, right? Because I mean, you have 114 surahs, like you have a chance that's gonna happen. And now, so if you take all of those letters, I
But
see
the issue is then
across.
it's a
I see
straw
him.
man.
Hold on, let me.
Is that it?
I see him across 80 surahs, right? So now if I change it to any other number, I can change it to 17. I see 86 instances. If I change it to 23, I see 69 instances. So it just happens.
So this is a huge straw man though, because you're
No.
claiming you can make this. 1 second, bro. I didn't even explain it, and you're saying no. Like, this is just like. Do you want me
Go
to
ahead.
not
Go
explain?
ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so this is a straw man because you're saying you can produce the same pattern as they claim, as Rashad claims, as the submitters claim, but the issue is you're not even doing the same form of the pattern.
No.
You're opening a spectrum which they don't open it to.
No,
So
that's
their options are much more limited.
no, that's
It's actually harder for them to get the multiples.
this is my point. There is no pattern. See, and that's what when we started this. I'm not sure if you were here. I was talking with maybe somebody else. I was trying to first establish pattern, the criteria for the pattern. There is no such one because you guys starts with initials and you're saying like, well, there's few of these, but not all. And then you take a multiple of surahs and you combine them to actually get your number.
All right, so I
That
asked you
is
a
not a
question.
pattern. That is
I
just
asked you- it
looking
is-
to
hold on,
find
it
the
is-
19.
Stop. Answer this question. What's the likelihood of a Qaf being a multiple of 19?
It shows up. It shows up. Hold on.
Give me the
It shows-
statistic. What's
It
the
shows
likelihood?
up 7 times in 114 surahs. That's your statistic.
What are you talking about?
I'm giving it to you. It shows up 7 times
talking
in
about?
114 surahs.
I'm talking about one surah. What's the chance of it being a multiple 19 in one surah?
1/14.
The issue is you're not understanding the like.
No. You're not understanding it because you got your criteria
He doesn't
wrong.
understand basic probability. What are we supposed
Oh, tell me about it.
Subtractive.
Okay, okay.
Get it.
There's a different. Okay, so what you're doing is the equivalent of it's the same probability as if you grab, let's say you grab Surat Qaf and you're telling me what's the probability that a letter of the Arabic alphabet is a multiple of 19. Like obviously the probability is going to be extraordinarily high, right? Because it's going to be. Correct me if I'm wrong, Navid, but it would be like
Why?
the 5%. The 1 second, it would be the 5%, and then but that
Right.
times how many letters in the Arabic alphabet, right? So then it'll be extraordinarily
Right.
high. So it doesn't make a anything.
That's
But
the whole point.
yeah. So
That's
that's
the
what
whole
that's
point.
kind of what
This
he's
is
presenting with the whole Quran.
this is what
Same
his
thing with your
entire
claim. Same
this
thing
is
with
no
your claim.
No.
no.
The difference
This
is what
the
another. The
entire
difference is
thing
none
is
of the
falling
differences.
apart.
Navid, sorry, 1 second. Sorry, Navid, 1 second. The difference is we're not saying, or even he's not saying that. What's the chances of any Arabic letter in the whole Arabic alphabet being a multiple of 19 in Surah Qaf? He's saying, what are the chances of specifically out of all the Arabic letters in the Arabic alphabet that Qaf is a multiple of 19 in the same chapter where Qaf is the initial letter of that chapter and the surah name's Qaf? Like, that's the point he's trying to make. The way you're making it broad, it just increases the probability drastically,
Sir,
where
do
it's
you
not even
understand?
numerically significant.
Sir, do you understand what the random chance is? That is the random chance because you don't have a pattern that it consistently happens. That can happen, right? You do
Yeah, I know it
understand
can
The
that.
happen.
likelihood of
It
it.
happens.
What's the
I know it can
likelihood?
happen.
So
What's the
show me the
likelihood of it
pattern.
happening?
That's my point. Show me
Where
the
did he
Wait,
get?
pattern.
why
It
is
has
why
to
is he not answering? Wait,
continuously happen.
Suspected. Where did he get 1/14 from? Like, what is that even?
What over
What is
14?
1/14?
no, he said
What is
Who's this guy even talking
114. He said what? He said
No,
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 no, he said
114.
114 surahs.
no. He said 1/14. I
No, 1
asked, what's
over.
the chance of it being a multiple of 19? He said 1/14. What even is that?
I don't know. Should be just over 5%.
By the way, Static, like the total amount of chapters in the Quran is 114, right? Did you know that
Right.
was 19 times 6?
It's a
Random
coincidence. It's
Yes,
random.
it is.
It's random. It's
Because
all random.
because
It's
because
all
how do you
random.
tie that with anything? Please explain it to me. How do you actually take
This is
this
beautiful.
phenomenon? Please take this
This is
phenomenon and
beautiful.
tie with something else, and you're gonna realize that this is just a random coincidence.
Okay. So
Because
if there
you
was
That's
can
the thing.
take.
That's the thing.
Hey,
That's the thing. Static.
hold
I
on,
agree with
hold on.
you. I
Did you
agree
know?
with you.
Did you know? Hold on, let me finish, please. Did you know that 114 is also divisible by 2, 3, 6, 19, 38, 57?
One second,
Big
static,
deal.
static. Static. I agree with you on this point about the number of the chapters. Right, this is the point I agree with you with. I don't see it like
Exactly.
anything.
There's nothing
One
nothing
second,
amazing at all.
One second. Yeah, like I agree with you. I don't like. That's a reason as well. Like that I don't see like something significant being tied to it, right? Or like anything implications behind it or anything like that,
Yes.
right? But then like when you move on to the initial letters, it's kind of a different story because
It
it's not.
is. That's
It
why I
is.
looked into it.
No, but the thing is with the initial letters, it is tied to something because it's not just saying, "Oh, look, we're gonna pick calf," and it's like, what's the chance of it being multiple 19? No, it's the chapter that is initial calf happened to be the one with the one multiple of
Yes.
19, right?
Yes.
It is
I
tied to
agree with you.
something.
I
It is
agree
tied
with
to
you.
something.
You actually you made a criteria there that the cough is initial of the surah, so it should show up there multiple of 19. Take every other initial. It doesn't happen. That's the point. It breaks the pattern.
How many would
Oh my
need to
god.
occur for there to establish a system? How many
All
sufficient?
of them.
Answer
All
that.
of them. You have to take all of them because that's your
Wait,
criteria.
stop.
You can't
Dude, you're
just
going to
take
be muted. You're
half-ass
going to be muted. I didn't
system.
ask you the question. You weren't spoken to.
Okay.
Suspected. Do you agree with his assessment that in order to establish a code of any degree or any level of existence, every single initial chapter must be totally consistent? Do you agree with that
Okay,
assessment?
so I don't agree that it has to be every single one to establish a pattern, but I do agree that if this is supposed to be like a perfect miracles like divine system, that it should be all of them. Like that's how I see it. But just to
Here's the
just to
question.
establish a
Bravo.
basic pattern, like only a few should like surahs should be
He's
enough.
saying that unless there's 29 shown, we have no right to claim that any pattern is established.
No, there's definitely like even like you only need like a handful, like probably half
So
a
this is the
dozen,
point that he's not getting.
or
Can
to
you
like, show
drive
a
this home to
statistical
him?
anomaly. To
But
show a
this is the
statistical
point that he's
anomaly, I
not
need like half
getting.
a dozen.
This is the point where his whole system is falling apart. This is the disconnect. He's not making this he's not grasping this component of it for whatever reason. Either he's divinely blocked, or he just doesn't understand probability, or he doesn't understand statistics.
All right, suspected. Like, here's your problem, man. Like, see, you actually want to concede to their push here. You really can't, because sure, you're gonna find random chance it happening, right? But you have to have a pattern. You have to have something complete. You can't, because even if you look at, even if you go with their claim, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. They're saying that they validated 4 of those. That's only 4 of those out of 29. And then what they try to do, you can actually see, it's clear that since it didn't fit in a surah, then they combined the surahs to actually find the 19. You can't do that. You can't mix and match, you know, apples and oranges. You just simply can't do that.
Stop. You're running
You
onto
can
other
see
stuff.
that it's just a fishing.
Stop. You're running onto other stuff. Suspect, did you see what he does? He just throws the smoke screen. He just throws the smoke screen.
Yeah,
you know exactly what he's doing. He's just smoke screening the whole thing.
Suspected. I would have to show.
He's bringing up a different, like, and he's not really bringing up the same point, but like it's like I understand what he's saying. I get what he's trying to say.
No. It's very simple. It's very simple. He should be able to very easily do it with 17. He should very easily do it with 13.
What do you want me to? What do you want me to do?
With
like
11.
17 shows up 86 times, and I bet you it's gonna hit some of those with initials.
What does that
This
even
is the
mean?
criteria. No, that's not
This
the
is your
criteria.
problem.
The criteria is, let me give you the criteria. The criteria
Give me
is
the criteria.
have a, like, as you go on with your life, this has to be synonymous, or sorry, not synonymous, but analogous to the Quranic narrative. Yeah, so go on with, like, in a like with your life, and as you go on with your life, record events in your life, and record, like, people's your interactions with people in your life, and historical events that are happening during your lifetime. Write a book using recording these things, right? And then incorporate a mathematical miracle within this book that is being haphazardly developed over time, right? Because if you think that that's the whole thing about the Quran, right? It's that's the whole miracle that they claim, is that it's not just the fact that you can make a mathematical miracle, but it's the fact that the nature of how the Quran was revealed, like that, some verses are literally just the Prophet responding to the people asking questions, right? Yet God still somehow incorporated the mathematical miracle, like, and working around, like, people's questions and actual events that happen, right? So it's that's also a thing to include. Would you agree, Navid? Like, it's even to that extent.
You're not addressing the core element. You're saying in order to establish
I'm not even sure what you said.
Stop. You're saying in order to establish a deliberate design, we don't need 29. All I'm asking you is drive that to him, like, make him understand that point, because that's where he's stuck. All this other stuff is irrelevant. Make him understand this point.
Yeah, no, look, if to establish this statistical anomaly, definitely you don't need to go all the way to 29, right? I mean, if we're talking like some divine system, then the criteria is debatable, right? But if we're talking about statistical anomaly, like, yeah, like only half a dozen, even less than half a dozen, like only a handful of surahs with initials should be more than enough.
What would that prove?
Why doesn't he comprehend that?
Why would that prove it to you? That would prove nothing.
Why doesn't?
No.
Hold on a second. If he won't, wait. Perspective. If he won't even acknowledge that much, why would we go further and claim anything about a miracle or a comprehensive design in the whole Quran? He won't even acknowledge a more basic pattern in a limited sense of the Quran. He won't acknowledge that. How are we supposed to go beyond this? Do you understand what I'm saying? He won't even acknowledge the most basic elements.
No,
if you can't acknowledge
the anomaly.
It is a statistical anomaly. I mean, it's even beyond that. These letters occur in their chapters.
It's how you're looking at it.
It's my turn. No, it's not how I'm looking at it. These letters occur in their chapters at a higher frequency than these letters occur in other chapters. That's already an anomaly. Has nothing to do with the number 19. Yes, this is a fact. The question is why? Why?
I'm seeing the numbers here. I mean, I'm plugging in numbers, and I can see, like, they
Put
just
in your
randomly
equation in the chat.
Put
your equation in the chat. Put your equation in the chat. Put your data in the chat. You just keep saying stuff without providing anything. You're not showing us anything. Suspect, did he provide anything to you? Do you have anything to show for what he's saying?
I'll send this data that I have to you guys.
Finally.
You can verify it for yourself.
Is that your side is not? What is it? The number is not showing as according to our number. So the number of things is not right, right? We talked about the Saad.
No, that's not correct. We talked about this before when I didn't have the correct data, when I got it off of the website. But now I downloaded Quran code software, and I got it exactly how it's
not
supposed to be.
the same.
Now I have Qaf, Ain, Sad, Qaf, Yasin, Qaf, Ha, Ya, Ain, Sad, and Alif Lam Mim. They do match, and that's only 5 occurrences, no more than 5. The non is not occurring because you have to change Quran to actually fit it. So you have to add one number. Right now I have 132. So if you change the Quran and you add another letter, you're gonna get 133, and then this is gonna match. But we're talking about the Quran, real Quran. We're not talking about some changes to the Quran.
So I'm wondering, when you did Saad, right? You did Saad in 38 only?
Yes, because now we're just talking about the surahs.
This is what you
specific
don't
surahs.
understand. This is how you don't understand the code. It seems that your search is also understanding the code. The code
I understand very well.
The code is invariable. Listen for a second. The code is that you have to take collection of all the Saad initiated surahs. You have to take the collection of all Qaf initiated surahs. You have to take the collection of all Hamim initiated surahs and do the total count and present it. But you didn't do it. You just took one surah who had Saad, and then you calculate that surah, number of Saad in that surah, and the number of Saad obviously is not a multiple.
Do you know what you're doing with that? All you're doing is trying to fit more occurrences. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing.
Seems you don't understand.
No, I understand it fully, because here's the thing: you couldn't find all the instances in the single surahs. So because that didn't work, now you actually did another thing. It was like, okay, well, can I find it this way? Oh, okay, well, it happened here randomly. Oh, okay, so we're gonna stick with this. That's what you're doing.
That's probably why you don't understand Quran and you don't understand how initials are. Initials comes in sets. If you see, there are 14 sets of initials. If you understand that. If you don't understand that there are 14 sets of initials, you think you need to do more research. Do Google in Wikipedia. It says sets of Quranic initials. It gives you all the sets. It doesn't give you letters. It doesn't give you 29 letters. It gives you sets. It gives you sets of initials. These sets of initials are found at the beginning of surahs, and they are repeated sometimes in different surahs, but they're still considered sets of initials.
Yes, that's what we're working with. We're working with the sets, exactly. Yes, we know that.
Saad is an initial. It's also Alif Lam Mim is the sets of initial. It's called one set. So Alif Lam Mim is counted together, because you don't have a lam initial. So you have it in surah that has a lam. It's not coming as a lam, but Saad comes as an individual and comes as a combination. But Saad in itself is considered one set of initial. Qaf, it comes as an individual, and also it comes as in a surah that has other letters as well. But Qaf, because it comes alone, is considered as one set of initial. Same with Ha Mim. Ha or Mim are not sets of initial. Ha Mim together is one set of initials. So you have to count the Ha Mim together because it's considered one set of initials. You can't count Ha and Mim separately. And you have to count all the surahs that consider that sets of initials. This is the principle as you're looking for a criteria. This is a criteria for identifying initials. You don't just go about different letters, searching them all over and over. You have to understand the concept of initials, right? That's how it is. It's 14 sets of initial throughout the Quran. And it's not something that was invented by us. Everybody knew that there were 14 different sets of initials, based on the fact that some of those initials are found exclusively at the beginning of one surah. That's the principle. If you find an initial exclusively at the beginning of that surah, that is considered one set. So for example, you get Saad in surah 38, it comes alone. It doesn't come with another letter. So because it comes alone, it's considered one set of initial. If you go to surah 40, you see Ha Mim. It comes alone. It doesn't come with with another letter together. So Hamim is in itself one set of initials. If you go to 42, you sing Ein Sin Qaf as 42-2. So 42-2 is independently in other sets of initials. Ein Sin Qaf. This is how it's determined. It's not determined randomly.
Listen,
So you
listen, sir.
put that in math.
That is exactly what you're doing. You're randomly looking through the data.
I just
Because what
explained to you
happens?
the mechanism, and then
Oh,
you
yes,
said
you did.
randomly.
Oh, yes, you did. You know
I
what?
just
We
explained
were
to you,
just.
sir.
Yes,
I
you
just
did. Of course you
explained
did.
to you very simple language, and I think everybody else on the call understood what I said. But I don't know
Yes,
why you keep going back to what you're saying.
it's ridiculous because
What is
what I
not
showed you.
ridiculous? It's how it works. It's how
No,
it's
it's
written. We didn't
it,
write it.
it's
We didn't
it's gonna
exclude
work
it.
the same way
We
like
didn't write
the
the
initials
Hamim,
for the
sir. We
specific
didn't write
surahs,
Hamim
right?
the way it came out at the beginning of Surah 40 through 46. That's not how we wrote it. That's how it came. It came down to us written this way. It didn't come Ha in 41 and Mim in 42. It came in one verse together as one set. We didn't divide them. It came at that way. So we're not selecting them randomly. So if you understand the sets of initial, then we can talk. If you don't understand them, then we're wasting our time, I think.
See, this is your problem. This is your problem exactly because what I just showed you here, I'm not even sure if you were here all the time, right? What I showed everybody else that they were here from the beginning is because your claim was initially that okay, well let's just focus on the surahs that specific surahs, right? So we're not gonna actually count them together right now. We're just gonna focus on those initially. And out of those 33 surahs, 19 happens 5 times. And everybody was saying like, well, you know what? That's just there's no chance that this is not magical. Right?
Well, you're not looking for any.
Now,
There's no criteria.
Stop. So let me finish. So we were going through and I'll type it in. We were going through the probability equation that 1 over 19 to the power of 5 is something significant that there's no chance it can happen.
No.
Now when I showed you the 11 happens 8 times, now you're just switching to the other set of data that you guys found. And you know what? It's going to be the same thing.
Can I just quickly say something?
You don't understand the code.
The thing is, the number 19 is more impressive than number 11, right? Like 11 would occur more times than 19 since it's a lower number. Like the higher the number.
Look at the probability. Calculate the probability, and then stop talking. You know, first do the probability.
Can you explain?
Okay. All right. So probability of 1 over 19 over 5 is gonna be 4 point. What did I calculate? Let me show you. Let me do it. I don't want to make a mistake. I'll do it in a calculator. Probability 5 instances will happen in 4.38 to the power of minus 7. Guess what? Probability of 17 happening 8 times is... Let me do it. And everybody else can do it. So 11, not the 17. 11.
Right.
Is... what's this? What's the number? 4.6 e to the minus 9. So where's the less chance?
My comment was very simple. It said what you presented here does not represent the initial calculations. Presented something that you calculated based on a not clear criteria. Is that you just basically counted every letter, every word. You know, this is a random way of doing it in math. A calculation.
No, it's not. You're doing it just like I am. Do you understand that?
No,
do you understand that?
Because there's significance. Do you think? Wait.
Why is it not?
Let me give you an example. Can I give you an example? You will listen? Will you listen? To whatever we count, there is significance. Just put the initials aside. What's the first surah in the Quran? The first surah that you see when you open the Quran is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So is there significance in this? It's been repeated in almost every surah except Surah 9. So is the first surah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, is the first surah. Is there significance there or not? It's just randomly selected. I don't randomly select words. If this book is the word about God, which is Allah in Arabic, is there significance there or not? If Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, the letters S Allah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahman wa Rahim repeats multiple of 19. The first surah in the Quran, the letters Ism, Allah, Rahman, and Rahim repeatedly repeats 19 multiples of 19 throughout the Quran. Is
Once
this
you
just
remove the
randomly selected?
verses.
Wait, listen to me. Is this randomly selected, or there was a significance to it? There is a
Yes,
value
it's
that
a random.
first,
It's a random found after you
oh,
remove two
you
verses.
say first surah in the book is random. That is said in the name of God, most gracious, most gracious. That's the most random word you could say, right?
Yes, it
It's
is.
repeated 114 times, multiple of 90. The total of chapters of the Quran is random, right? The
Yes.
chapters of the Quran is random number, right? Is that a random number, or
Everything is random. That's the point. Because you're not
you are
linking.
random by yourself? Then your
Yes, I
existence
am.
is random also.
Because your problem is you're linking things. You're trying to link something that has no
I
relevance to
said
anything.
first surah in the Quran. First thing you see in the Quran
Yeah.
is
So what? Yeah.
it's 19 letters.
Yes,
So
so
is that random?
yeah,
Okay.
of course.
So let's look at the
That's the
next
first
random.
revelation. Well, what's
Let's
the
look
big
at the
deal
next
about it?
random. Just listen to me. Be quiet for 2 minutes. If you can do that, I would appreciate, and everybody else can at least understand something. So if the first letter in the first verse in the Quran says Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is 19 letters. All the number of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in the whole Quran is also multiple of 19. The second random thing linked to the first random thing. In fact, in Surah 9, we don't have at the beginning Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, but it's repeated in another place in Surah 27, if I'm not mistaken. In Surah 27 is repeated. The second Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is additional one. So the total is 114 Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim as in the whole Quran, which is at the same time, the same number of surahs exist in the Quran is 114 multiple of 19. All of the words that come and the first verse, Allah is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, comes in multiple of 19. So these are three random things linked from the first random thing. So if you pick the first random thing, which is the first surah, and then you use those letters and you look for that phrase right or on the second random thing is also a multiple of 19, and then you go to the third random thing, which is Ism, is a multiple of 19, and you go to the fourth random thing, which is Allah, is a multiple of 19. You then go to the fifth random thing linked with the first one, which is Rahman, is multiple of 19, and then you go to the sixth random thing, which seems that all random but they're connected. You can see the connection, right? The connection was that we put the first verse in the Quran and then we moved on. Now do that with another number. Pick the second surah in the Quran and use another number and do similar like thing. Can you do that? You can't. Can you now first do it with 4, do it for 11. Count the second verse in the Quran, count the letters, and then if it's something else, for example, whatever number there is, and then try to do that chapters. The number of letters seconds multiple of that you found that is not 19. It's another number, right? It's 20. You can do that with third verse and go on and do that with a different. So I showed you one principle, one way of doing it, and you can do the same thing in others. Use another verse to do it, but as long as it's not 19, use another number. Try to count another verse, and it's another number. It's 13 or 15 or 11 or 27, 20. It doesn't matter, whatever. And trying to show some connection between them, the way I showed you in the simple one. So this is, and then you got the initial source on its own, right? So you get all this different criteria there, and they're not random. You see the first revelation, you see the last revelation. These are all first and last. They're not just random things in the Quran. The number of chapters in the Quran are not random. The most important word in the Quran, which is Allah, is not a random word. I don't know if you know Allah means God. If God is random thing in the Quran, then I don't know what what you're really doing here. Allah is the most
Praises be to
important
God,
word in the
Lord of
Quran.
the universe.
La
Subhanallah.
ilaha illallah.
I mean, you were talking
Subhanallah.
for 3 minutes, man. Are you gonna be wrapping up or what?
Subhanallah.
So
God
Allah
be
is the most
glorified.
random word in the Quran, right? That's what you think.
All right. So can I respond?
I mean, you gotta say everything. Go ahead.
She mute so I can talk? All right. So I'm not sure like how blinded you guys are to not see that you have a huge set of data, which we do have here. We have 114 chapters. We have each chapter has how many surahs, how many words, how many letters. When you combine all that stuff, it's a gigantic set of data. All right, so everybody should agree on that, hopefully, right? And like I'm saying, one of the things, if you just look at this, this is just the letters. I mean, it's a pile of data, and this is just the letters. We're not talking about words. We're not talking about specific words. We're not talking about like surahs. Like anything. So it's a huge set of data. Now, when you get when you get stuck with something, when you get like when you take the number 19, if you take anything and you get obsessed with it. In this case, we got obsessed with Quran. Obviously, it's something we believe in, so I can understand that. So we found a surah, or actually a verse, referring to some kind of a number 19, even though most likely it's talking about the angels in hell. But you guys are claiming it's something else. So fine. So now you took that, and then initials is the third thing, because you guys are, everybody's claiming we don't know what it is until now, right? So those three things, if you take those and if you focus on them, and if you focus on that and ignore everything else, you're gonna start seeing things. You're gonna start seeing connection where, oh, okay, this is multiple of this. This is added to this. This is all kind of things, because you have a huge set of data. Again, that's the key here. You have a huge set of data, so of course things will fall. Something's gonna add, something's gonna subtract, something's gonna multiply. But what you're not understanding is that's nothing more than numerology. You're looking for a specific thing. You're not taking the whole set like I just showed you. I just showed you only one example, because to me it was intriguing that you guys are claiming, because initially I had an introduction. Nobody's talking to me like about adding surahs and whatnot. We were just focusing on this first, because that one thing was a miracle. That 19 happens in few surahs. And if you take, no, I'm not done. I'm not done, because let me finish.
Why don't you just?
It's not circle.
We're just going in circles.
No,
You're saying.
I think
My whole
Okay,
point is
I think
my whole point is if you look at for some other number, you're gonna find it.
So
You're gonna
show
find
us.
things. You're gonna
how
find
did you find
connections.
it?
Show us.
I
How
did
you
find
find
it, and I'm done with it. I don't have to find you anything else. I already found it to you.
No,
I
I
showed
think
I showed
extend that.
number 11 happening 8 times. That is 3 times more than 19. Probability for that. I showed you the equation. What the probability is? It's
Show
more.
it.
It's
Show
multiple
it.
Okay.
of
ربي
100 more.
أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين
Lord.
أعوذ بك رب أن يحشرون. Listen, I've been listening to you for 1 hour, and I'm stunned by the fact that you go to such extremes to
He doesn't
prove
hear you. He doesn't
that
hear you. He
it's
doesn't hear you. He doesn't hear you. He's on deafened. He's deafened. He doesn't hear you.
good. Actually, if you see, he wouldn't hear me.
Yeah, he doesn't
He
hear
is
you.
on death. I know, because he can't. He didn't listen
No,
to anybody for
he
1
hears you
hour.
now. He hears you. He hears you. He hears you now.
He hears me now. Thank God. Okay, I hope you really can hear me. For the last hour, I just listened to you, and I was like, "Oh my God! Does this man knows who God is?
Is
Do
this a
you
joke?
have a religion?
Is this
If
a
you
joke
don't
right
mind
now?
me asking, what is your religion?"
Is this a joke right now? Do we really
No,
need
no,
to?
no. This is not a
I
joke. What you do is a joke. This is not a joke. Nobody's laughing. We're talking
Numerology
about
is a
heaven
joke.
and hell. Calm
Numerology is a
down, calm down.
pseudoscience. That's a joke.
You do not need to
What I
insult
showed you,
me.
it's a probability of the math, the real math.
Forget about the math. I have a different question for you. The other people were talking to you about math, and now I have another question for you. What is your religion? What happened?
I think he's
Relevant.
waiting
So
for
we
you. Yeah.
asked him
I think
this.
it's
He's
irrelevant.
Are you
Islamic.
telling
He's
me
Islamic.
religion?
He's
He's
Sunni slash.
Islamic?
He's Sunni
Talking about
slash
math here.
Quranist. But let's
Okay,
focus
so
on the
he's Islam.
data. Yeah, let's focus
But
on the
then,
data.
Criticism's
brother,
good, guys.
they've
Criticism's good.
been talking about the data for 2 hours just today.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
we're
And
trying
I
to be
proved it to
honest.
you finally. And I proved it to you finally.
what I'm trying to say, allow me to finish. What I'm trying to say is that this guy is going out of his way to prove Quran wrong.
Not
If this
Quran.
is
What?
not a satanic
What?
setup, I don't know what
Bro,
is.
bro,
But not for me, for you, for
It doesn't.
yourself.
It doesn't know what I'm saying.
Okay. So what that tells me about GPS is that if you disprove 19, then you disprove the Quran. Is that the claim here?
Okay, hold on. I am asking you, do you believe in Quran? Yes or no? Do you?
yes, he does, bro.
This is waste of
But when
time.
he doesn't say it, other times he's talking non-stop. But now when I ask him, he's quiet. Do you believe in the
Because it's
Quran?
irrelevant. Because I tell you why. I tell you why he does not answer because it's irrelevant. Because he
It's
wants to talk about the
irrelevant.
statistics and the
Oh,
number.
that's very interesting. You
Because
Was a
taking
simple
God's
question.
you're
scripture.
changing the
But
subject. I
wait
mean,
a
what
minute.
is
You
this?
don't decide what's relevant or not. Who are you? Why
So
should
you
people come and spend so many hours, go back and forth with you?
I showed you
Who
data.
are you?
I showed you
What are
math.
you
Math
doing
cannot
here?
be wrong. It can be, or actually, it can be wrong or right. That's it. There's no in
Who
between.
cares? Who cares about you?
Exactly.
Who
Apparently,
cares
you do
about
not.
you? You're
Apparently,
nobody.
you do not care because
oh my
you
No,
god.
no,
blindly believe
no,
in
no,
things.
no. You have to just
Bro,
stop.
Navid, bro, what is this?
You are
What is
not
this right now, bro?
you are not the universe is
You
not
ain't gonna do
going
anything.
around you. You talk too much. You give false answers, and these brothers of mine have been spending at least the last 2 hours in every direction they could to prove you, but you are blinded because of your faith. For 1400 years, nobody knew about the miracle of the Quran. And they upholded the Quran. And they accepted as a word of God. You are doing the work of Satan. I don't know if you're blinded or you don't realize it.
Yes, I'm the
Why
Satan.
are you attacking the people who want to spread the message? Don't you have nothing better to do? Go dispute with Christians, Muslims, atheists, or anybody else. Why did you put your finger on this server? What are you doing here? We're not here to teach you math.
Show you what's numerology.
No, forget about the numerology. I don't come here to about the numerology. I'm here to understand who God is. How I can go to paradise. How to live a righteous life. How to live by example.
You can do all
How
that
to be
without 19.
humble. How to be striving because of God. You do nothing. You just sit here and bring doubt. Interesting enough,
Actually,
not a
Allahu Akbar.
single listen, not
All
even a single person in
right,
here you
all
have
right,
been able to put a doubt in their heart. You haven't. You
all
have
right.
faith. Don't dig your grave any further.
Okay,
Do not.
all right,
I'm giving you a very good piece of advice. You
all
are
right.
doing the
Thank
Satan's
you so
job
much.
and trying to put seeds of doubt in people's heart. But I tell you something, remember this. The people
Okay,
on this chat room are solid believers. They're just
okay,
showing patience with you
I'm
so
too.
you can stop saying nonsense. But you didn't. You failed.
okay, okay. Sister,
All
thank you
praise
very
be
much.
to God, Lord of the universe.
Praise be to God. All
Allah
right, thank you.
Akbar.
Thank
There's
you.
no
All right,
God but Allah.
it's okay.
I
It's
actually have
okay.
a genuine question. So you say that there's 8 surahs. Are you able to make it coded so that it shows you the names of the surahs? So like whatever number you do, if it's 4, it'll show you the 4. If it's 8, it shows you the names.
I
Can you
can
do
show
that?
you that. Yes. What do you want to know? Okay. So the 11 occurs in the surahs with initials.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's
It
the
goes
key
8
here
times.
because we only focus on surahs with initials and nothing else. If you want to know the rest of the surahs, guess what? 11 happens in 135 surahs, but only 8 with initials. 19 happens 5 times and 77 in the rest of the surahs.
Yeah, no, what I'm asking is how do I get the list of the surahs of those 8 ones? Are they alaflim like you know what I
I
mean?
can
Like
show it to you. Okay, I can look at it here. All right. So Alif Lam Mim happens once, and it happens in
oh I
Surah
see.
2. Okay. the Aleph Lam Ra happens twice, and that is, let's see what it happens. It happens in which surah? I just have to basically go through it. I mean, it's not that sophisticated. I didn't waste that much time on this. Come on now. But yeah, basically, I mean, when I send you the, I will. I mean, once we're done with this, I'll give you the spreadsheet, and you can play with this because that's exactly what I want you to do. Because I spent time to see what's going on here, and this is what I'm finding. That's it's just a math. I'm not my premise. My premise
give us
was
the
that
8
this is
surahs.
just random,
Okay, give us
and this is what I'm proving.
Give the 8 surahs that you say are multiples of 11, and then now it's Amin's turn while you're pulling that up. Go ahead, brother Amin.
No, I
Go
really
ahead,
didn't.
Well,
I didn't want to. I mean,
just gave you one.
this is where I think the whole idea is that the way he's doing the count is really random. That's just my whole point. Is that he's just counting letters.
It's not random.
So let me finish. He's counting letters and surahs in the whole Quran. Is that correct? You're counting the letters in the whole Quran, and then you see which chapter is multiple of 11, 13, 76 different numbers. You can't hear anything.
No, I'm doing similar what you. Well, actually, identical thing, except just changing the number,
That's what
from 19 to something else.
just
So whatever you
just showed
guys
you how
did
you
as
just
far as
saw it.
individuals.
No, I'm
Like I'm
just
saying, we were right now focusing on only individual surahs. We didn't do the multiplication, the summation of other surahs. I'm just talking about like specific surahs. So Saad, as a standalone, it's in surah 38.
Yeah, but you have saw it in 2 other surahs as well.
Again, it's irrelevant to this point. We can go further. You're missing the thing here. What I already showed you is that there's nothing magical about 19 because 11 also happens.
Well,
and it's going to happen for the other type of the set of data.
I'm out. You're getting ahead of yourself, right? This is. Are you familiar with the replication crisis that's going on right now in sciences?
What is it?
The replication crisis.
About what specifically?
Roughly 50% of academic papers in social sciences are not replicable. Familiar with this?
What does that do?
There's a significance because there's something it's called p-hacking. This is literally what you're doing. If you're trying to create something statistically significant by trying multiple basically combinations until you find one, they say, look, this one's 8. So your probability isn't 1 out of 11 to the 8th power.
That's what you did too with
No,
19.
no. Number 19 has
don't
been
think that what you did is magical. It's not.
Okay, so you just called it magic.
Oh, you're claiming it. I'm saying it. Don't think what you did is magical. It's not.
It's a fixed variable, right? Because you went down the road. How many combinations did you try before you got to 11?
I can show you 10 combinations. We're talking about like around 19.
Bro.
Number around 19, just to show you what's happening.
Bro, let's be real. So which numbers did you try?
We tried 17, we tried 16, and 11.
You didn't try 13, you didn't try?
You can try.
No, did you try?
You're gonna... Sure, here.
I'm asking you.
Look,
hey, bro,
it
I'm
happens
asking you a
once.
question. Answer the question.
14, no, I'm doing it right now. So, right there.
I'm asking you a question. Just give a straightforward answer.
I tried 10 numbers. I tried 10 numbers.
No. I'm not asking you to try them. I'm asking you which ones have you tried.
I said I tried 10 numbers, and I saw what I needed to saw. That was enough for me.
So you tried 10 numbers, and out of the 10, you found one that was statistically significant, which was 11.
No, there are other ones, but 8 is actually, 11 was actually the one that stick out more than 19.
I don't think you understand what I'm asking.
Oh, I understood.
How many numbers did you try? It's a straightforward question.
10.
Huh?
10 numbers.
Okay, so look, you tried 10 numbers. Okay, how many
Yes.
chapters?
Yes.
How many letters are there?
It's the same. I use the same set of data. What are you talking
listen.
about?
You lack statistical awareness. Okay.
No, you
You're
are
trying-
because
You're trying 20. So you're looking at the total combinations of letters within the given Quran, correct? 28 letters, right?
yes.
Okay. So think of this. Each time you're trying a combination that doesn't work out, you're increasing the probability of finding one that does. Does this make sense? This is literally what p-hacking is.
Seriously, man. Are you serious
I don't understand what's funny about this. This is literally statistics.
It is funny because that's exactly what you were doing. You were actually, whoever was doing this initially, it went through the random data. You have to put it to the calculator. Okay. How about this? Let me finish this, if you don't mind. Right? Let me finish this. Guy Rashad Khalifa needed a computer to actually get all this data done. He needed a computer, so he was trying for years to come up with this data. And you're telling me I can't.
Bro, all you got to do is show, like, say, for instance, you tried 10 numbers, right? There's 28 letters. So you're, by your own volition, right? You've tried all these combinations. You found one that you said, look, this occurs 8 times. It's not, this isn't 1 out of, which one? 1 to the 11 to the 8th power. This literally has to do with 1 out of, so it's going to be 10 combinations, right? For each of those combinations times 28 until you found one that's statistically significant. This is literally the entire replication crisis that's going on in science right now.
That's ridiculous, sir. Because, like I was trying to explain, Rashad Khalifa, when he was going through this stuff, he did not know. He did not know. Listen to me. He did not know.
Let me ask you, did he try 13? Is that what he did? Did he
No. You know what he did? Do you know what he did?
He kept going up 1 until he found 19. Is that what you're claiming?
You know what he did? He didn't use the same surahs. He was going through the multiple of 114 surahs. He was trying to find something that sticks. Do you understand that?
No.
Do you understand that?
Do you know what frequency analysis is? Explain to me frequency analysis.
Just stop throwing those terms, dude.
Again, you're ignorant on this topic, right?
Oh my God!
Literally, this is how you decipher basically an encryption, right?
You can decipher all you want, dude. We're talking about 10 tries versus millions. Come on, man. Be serious about this. Be serious about this.
You have no clue what you're talking about. Literally, frequency analysis is a mechanism used to basically decipher if there's something embedded inside encrypted information. Are you familiar?
We only have 19 numbers here. We only have 19 numbers here, like from 1 to 19. That's all we have here.
A little lesson here. Let's deal with English. Okay? In English,
dude,
frequency analysis.
Listen, with all respect to you,
okay. In English, we have frequency analysis, right? In any given text, the frequency of any given letter is going to happen statistically. This is the way that, say, for instance, if you use a cipher where you switch A to B, B to C, C to D, right? You can decipher that cipher strictly by frequency analysis. This is what Rashad was doing in 1969, right? He was seeing that, hey, why is it that these given letters in the respective chapters are occurring outside of what you would expect from frequency analysis? So if you're claiming that, in essence, he went through and just kept trying combinations until he found this one, you're wrong. This is literally how you basically decipher a cipher.
Yeah, you're unmuted, Static.
Well, I honestly don't have nothing to say to that. For you to tell me that the guy that spent years trying to fish for the numbers, to tell me that he hasn't tried.
Look, this is literally, if you wanted to crack a cipher, this is the mechanism by which you go. This is a fact.
And what's wrong with that? If you see the pattern is there, right? What's wrong with that? Did I find something that is actually higher than 19 that it happens?
No,
happens
that's the whole
more.
point.
Yes, I did.
No.
Well, what's your point?
Do you know? Look,
what's your point?
This is the whole concept of p-hacking, right? All you're doing is you're hiding the variables that didn't work, and you're highlighting the ones that do. You do enough permutations, you'll find some. Yeah, but that's not the significance here.
Bingo! That's what I wanted to hear. That's exactly what I wanted to hear from you. Yes, exactly. When you keep looking for stuff, and in this case, you're stuck with 19, you're gonna find something.
No.
You're gonna find the pattern.
It's a
You're gonna
fixed-
find semi pattern,
No,
not the
but
pattern
this is a
actually.
fixed
And
parameter.
then you're gonna say like, look at this.
Look, we didn't pick the letter. We didn't pick the surahs, right? We didn't pick the number. This has all been embedded inside the Quran for 1400 years. Right? This wasn't someone sitting behind a computer on a spreadsheet just trying combinations until he found something that's significant.
Who
That's
decided?
literally what
Who
you're doing.
decided? Who decided this specific method? Did God tell us this?
It's
No.
revealed. No, it's revealed in
No,
the
it's
Quran.
not.
Oh
No,
yeah.
it's not.
So
No,
you're-
it's not revealed exactly what to do with it. Even let's even say that 19 is something special. It did not reveal what we need to do. That we need to supposed to count letters.
Was this a miracle
What?
given to you? Did God
Letters.
send static to basically tell mankind the correction on this? No. Are you claiming to be a messenger?
Oh my God, no! I'm just telling you that the Rashad was fishing for the numbers, just like anybody else
Where did
when
he get the
plays
number
with their
19?
numerology.
Where did he get the number 19?
He found it in a surah, and he thought, like, you know what? Let me see what I can figure out with this. And he plugged the data because he finally got the computer. You know, that was the time when the computers came out.
He published in 1969 ahead of time, right, the frequency analysis of the Quran. Right? He said that, look, these letters in the respective chapters happen in a frequency that you wouldn't expect if this wasn't a biased text. And that's the whole point. If you look at Surah 42 and Surah 50, Surah 42 is twice as long as Surah 50, but the occurrence of the letter Qaf in both these surahs is one and the same. This is literally frequency analysis.
And why is it not happening in every possible way for all the surahs? For all the surahs with initials? It doesn't, because it doesn't have a pattern. Pattern is broken.
Whole point.
Which
What do you
it
mean the
points
pattern's
out
broken?
is just a random thing. Yes,
No,
it's broken.
please. You're picking 28 letters throughout the entire basically Arabic language. You're going through combinations one by one, trying to find something until you say, look, this one has 8 occurrences. Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
It's like, okay,
Just
but
like
you tried
number
10
19. Just like
combinations
number
before you
19.
found one. No. Number 19 is a fixed parameter. That's the fundamental difference. We didn't pick the letters. We didn't pick the text. We didn't pick the number.
Now I can start with 11. Since I saw this pattern, now I can go and hunt and find all the other instances that happens, you know, like with all the combinations. Because I have a big set of data. Quran is big, you know, talking about letters, talking about like chapters, talking about words. I can find all kinds of things. But why? Why waste of time? You already did with 19. Proves nothing.
I mean, bro, I'm flabbergasted. You're going to be on the day of judgment, standing before God. God's going to be like, hey, I gave you this miracle.
Here it
And you
goes.
laughed at it. I mean,
Yes,
honestly,
I am laughing at this. Because
if
this
you're-
is
you have
numerology.
this
Do you
this
understand what the
level of
numerology
confidence,
is?
You're mocking God's scripture and his miracle.
Yes, I'm mocking number 19. Because
I'm glad you have that testimony. I'll be a witness to that.
and to be honest, I went too far. I mean, I'm not mocking it. I'm just saying, like, to me,
No,
I
you
really
said,
wanted
hey,
to.
bro, we know. You don't accept this Quran. It's cool.
No. This where you coming? Yeah, that's not nice. I believe in Quran, dude, but I'm not taking verses out. I'm not changing the letters. I just take Quran to what it is. It's a book that tells you how to live a life, not to count some numbers.
You read it. You read it. You read the Quran. You read it from cover to cover. Because last time you seemed unsure about yourself. And again,
No,
you're not,
I did.
you're not
I
a
did.
child, right?
I did. You
You're
don't
not
have
a
to
child.
repeat that. I did.
Yeah, you're not a child. It sounds like you got kids in the background. You're a grown man. You should read this book.
All right. I would like everybody
So-
else to actually do the same
Just
thing.
to add
have a
to
question?
what you
I
were
just
saying you
don't
were doing.
I just don't think that
Because
the 11 even exists.
It doesn't. This is the whole concept of look. The whole concept of p hacking is you try enough combinations until you find something that you say is statistically significant, and you throw out all the other tests that you've done.
and you do the same thing
do
for
that,
and you do the same thing for 19. You found it in the Quran.
So when you do that, in essence, all you're doing is you're increasing the number of permutations. This crap that it's like, oh, you did the same thing with number 19. We didn't pick the book. We didn't pick the number. We didn't pick the letters, right? All this has been given to us. So if you're going to go through the entire Quran, you're going to say, hey, look, I'm going to look at all 28, letters of the Arabic, based on some text that we can say definitively is not even the correct text of the Quran. It's comical.
Data initially when I was showing people that okay, I
think what you're saying, I think what you should do if you think 11 is significant, as I suggested, go find similar effects with 11 with words as well. Like the frequency of this significant word happens multiple of 11, and frequency of that word happens multiple of 11. A number of chapters and number of verses add together or multiply together is divisible by 11. Things like that. Because you can't stick with only what you started, because that's not what the 19 is all about. It's not only the initials. I just gave you an example of other stuff. So you gotta, if you're saying you'll find eventually all those stuff, then go ahead and find them and present them and say, oh, it wasn't just this random data crunching that I did. When I go and pick this important verse in the chapter, this is also multiple of 11, and this chapter words are also, if you search in the world throughout the Quran, they're repeated in multiple 11, and also the letters, if you count them, you add them up, is the multiple of 11. Do that and come back.
I mean, if you think that I think that there's something significant about if you think that I think that there's something specific, something magical about 19 as well. The whole premise here is that random things, it happens. When you have the big collection of data, randomly things will stick. If you keep looking at one specific,
convince me.
Hold on, let me finish it.
You convince me at all that.
I already convinced. I already showed you. I showed you one premise here that 19. Like first initially you guys were claiming 1 over 19 to the power of 5. It's unbelievable. There's no way that can happen. Well, I showed you that 11 is even more. It has less chance for it to happen, right?
No, you didn't.
But
you didn't pick.
look, yeah, I did.
No. You picked the entire Quranic text based on a faulty manuscript, right? Count, and then on top of that, you're constantly going through permutations until you found something that you think is cool. That's the extent of your work. It's a joke.
No, it's not, because that's exactly what you guys asked. It was like, hey, like this cannot happen. Like, show me any other number. Navid was telling me that, and I was like, well, here you go, man. Here's 11. What are you gonna do now? Now you're shifting. Yeah, now you're shifting to some other subject. Now you want me to prove every single thing. Now, basically, what you want me to do, like, you want me to show you that with some other number, everything is possible. Like, division of 114 to something, like, like Allah name, happening this many times, all that stuff. You want that kind of stuff.
But it's happening for 19. So if you think it's random, you should also randomly find it for 11. Isn't that logical?
I mean, that's his whole claim.
If 19 is random in that context, this should happen for 11 or 13 or whatever. The same stuff should be equally found.
It's just funny in the sense where it's like, look, he's literally just going through permutations until he says, oh, look, in this text that, again, we know is faulty, the number 11, after 10 different numbers trying, this one occurs 8 times. 8 supposed initials, the text that he's using happens in sorry, in okay, so what? Statistical sense there. If he said, look, in the Quran, it says number 11, and it says it in this specific context, and I'm going to use it in a very fixed parameter, it's like, it's one thing. No, this is the whole concept of peaking. You just keep constantly throwing variables in there until you find something that you say, okay, now I'm going to highlight this one. It's a joke. This is the crap that gets thrown out of scientific publications.
Out of curiosity, what would be the right Quran to use if you wanted to meet the challenge? And where would you get the data from?
I mean, I would say start with the King Fahd, 1924 Cairo edition at least. That one at least for the Yassins, the Sads, like all these stuff that are like pretty well established. there's no debate about.
You should probably unmute him.
Okay. The source that he's pulling from, like, we can tell, like, look, the Yassins, there isn't a dispute regarding. Saud's, there isn't a dispute regarding. So if he's having different counts on those, then it shows, like, okay, his text is not adequate.
I have the same count. The Quran is legit.
Navid, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, where's the 8 occurrences of 11? Can you give the numbers for those or no?
Oh, okay, I can give it to you. Then what? What are you gonna do about it? I mean, like, are you gonna do some analysis, or I mean, what's the point of it?
Then I guess you could check those verses themselves.
Because
and
here's the
see.
thing. Here's the thing. Like, all the stuff that I just did, like, dude came up with some other, like, reasons that somehow my data, what I found is, no, it's this
I mean,
probability.
the problem is you don't even
calculate.
substantiate the claims you make.
Oh, I do.
We're all waiting, buddy.
Okay, so you want the okay. I already gave you first one. So one, it's Aleph Lam Mim. It's Surah 2. All right, so that one is divisible by 11. Okay.
Wait. How are you going about even doing your counts? Are you doing the total initial count for the entire Quran, or are you going per chapter in any given?
I'm doing the same thing like we did for the number 19, right? So basically, if you have
you're clearly not.
What do you mean?
So tell us what is it that you're doing?
I'm clearly not.
No, you're just giving an example that you're not doing what we're doing.
I'll
tell me regarding, like, so are you going through each of the initial chapters, saying, hey, these are the totals, and then trying each number until you come up to something? Is that what you're doing, or are you looking at the occurrence of every letter throughout the entire Quran? Which is it?
No. First I did your analysis, right? Your plan was like,
don't
this is your analysis. Let me
explain to me. You did to submit a paper, right? You'd say, hey, this is the mechanism I did. I'm asking you to explain what is this mechanism.
Okay, so there's a see, this is ridiculous. Most of us, we already know about all
this. This is
this.
a straightforward question. You're trying to
It
present.
is, but I'm not have to go through all the details, right?
I'm asking you a straightforward question. What is it you actually did? Please explain.
There's 14 special initials, and they happen in 29 surahs, right? Now, if you look at them, the way how you guys organize them,
don't say
some of
you
those.
guys. I'm asking
well,
you.
I'm following your methodology. I have to say your. I mean, just
time.
because this is.
Last time, bro, I'm asking you what you did. Don't stop saying this. Oh, what you. I'm not. This isn't about what we did. I'm asking you, what did you do in this analysis? So please explain, articulate with details.
As I said, like, there's 14 initials. They're the special initials, and they happen across 29 surahs, and I have them marked here. Now, the claim is that the initials, for example, Aleph Lam Mim, those combination of those 3 letters, if you count the surahs with that specific initial, for example, Surah 2 has Aleph Lam Mim. It starts with Aleph Lam Mim. So if you take that surah, if you count Alephs, Lams, Mims, and if you count them together and multiply by 19, you get the natural number. That means it's divisible by 19. That's the claim, and I did that for the rest of those surahs with the initials. Does that make any? Is that clear enough?
You took the 29 initial chapters, right? You got the aggregate of their counts in any respective chapter. Is that correct?
What do you mean aggregate?
You don't know what aggregate means?
I'm not sure what you mean. Like in this set. Like what are you saying?
The total
So
of
for instance, in Surah 2, right, you counted all the alifs, all the lams, and all the memes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your total that you got?
The sum of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
what is that total?
Okay. 874 times 11. 874 times 11. 9,614.
9,614. Okay, and so you did this for each of the respective chapters.
Not only them, but everything else.
No. So,
but we only focus. Yes.
Okay, when you're saying, for instance, this occurs, 11 occurs in how many chapters?
8 with initials. And 135 in all surahs.
Okay, I'm looking at Surah 13, right? For instance, so you have, you're saying that ALM and ALMR occur in, whatchamacallit, multiple of 11?
No, that one does not. There's Alif Lam Mim that happens in Surah 2. There's Alif Lam Ra that happens in 2 surahs with initials, with those initials. There's Ta Sin.
Just tried it. I just tried it.
two
Aleph
occasions.
Lam Mim is 9899 divided by 11. It's not a multiple of 19.
It's not supposed to be, exactly.
I'm sorry. It's not a multiple of 11. I'm sorry. 9899 is not a multiple of 11. So let's try it.
Which number you got?
9899 divided by 11 is 899.9.
So
it's not a multiple of 11.
Which surah is that?
Surah 2.
Well, I got what I said. I got like 9. What was it? Like 874. 874 times 11. 9614.
What? I just did Aleph Lam Mim in Surah 2 is 9899. Okay, I did it divided by 11. It's 899.909. So it's not a multiple of 11. So that one's out. So now do you want to try a different chapter?
It's not out because your data is bogus.
What do you mean my data is bogus?
Because the claim that you guys have that all of the Alif Lam Mims, Alif Ras, and all of these that they're actually multiple of 19
Which
is not.
one? So tell me,
correct.
which chapters did you get multiples?
Okay.
Let's look at those. So you said, okay, so
So
chapter...
basically with 19, so we're going back to...
Put 11.
Okay.
What do you have? You have chapter what? Tell me the chapters. So you said chapter 2, okay?
Yes.
What else?
I got chapter 2. I got chapter... Okay, so I need to find these. So there's 2 instances for Alif Lam Mim Ra, and those would be... Let me see. So this is between 10 and 15. So it's chapter 15 and chapter 13. So those are the Alif Lam Ras.
Wait. 13 is not. 13 is Alif Lam Mim Ra.
That's according to you if you take out. Wait a second. Alif Lam. Where did I get that? Alif Lam Mim. 15. So what you're doing is you're taking the
You know what we were saying, the initials in top of the chapter, right? Those ones.
Right.
Okay, so 13 is not. So you're down to 7.
But wait a second. The thing of it is that's how you do it, like Ein Sin Ha and Ta Sin as well.
No.
Yeah.
Yasin, the total is a multiple. Ein Sin Qof, the total is a multiple. Right, so 13 is out.
It's not because counting it as a it has the 3 initials, right?
It's 4 initials in 13. Alif Lam Mim Ra.
But that's how you do with the other stuff.
Show me
For example, Ha Mim, Ein Sin Kaf.
Show me one.
Right here, Ha Mim, Ein Sin Kaf. You actually take Ein Sin Kaf. You don't count Ha Mim.
2 sets of initials, bro. It's a separate initial. It's literally a
Then
separate
why
set
are
of
you doing
initials.
same thing with the Tasin?
So I just confirmed he's not giving good answers. I just confirmed out of the 6 Aleph Lam memes, 2 of them work as multiples of 11. Chapter 29 and chapter 30, they're both multiples of 11.
Which, I mean, statistically, you got 13 within just wait 2 within the Aleph Lam Meme.
No. So in chapter 29,
You're changing
there's
your premises. That's your problem.
Stop. I'm helping you. Listen, I'm helping you. Chapter 29, it's ALM is a total of 1672. That's a multiple of 11. Then chapter 30, ALM total is 1254. That's also a multiple of 11. So you got 2 out of 6 there. So let's why don't we just do the rest?
Let's go. So 13 is out. What else? What's the next one?
So we got 2 so far out of 29. So keep going.
Okay, you got 2 for Tasin.
What?
Okay, so show me.
Okay. 27, 28.
Which one?
27 and 28.
What are your counts?
They're 11 times 11. Times 11 is 121. Both.
Is it which two chapters?
27 and 28.
27. And then 28. Is not, because it's Tasin meme. Okay, so you 4 out. So now you're at 6. What else is left?
So now you're changing your premises. That's fine.
No,
I'm
Tasin
totally
meme.
fine with that. That's how you guys are doing this.
Bro, I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
Surah 28, the initial is Tasin meme. Okay?
Helping you out. I just gave you another one. Chapter 42 is Ain Sin Qaf, and it occurs 11 times 19.
19 times 11.
Yeah. So you got 3 so far out of 29. Do you have any more?
Okay.
Oh, we got 4. We got 4 so far. All right, Amin.
Okay, which one?
Amin. Okay. $21, 45.
Okay, so not the aggregate then.
945. That's the total of the letters.
What you have as the total?
The Hamim is 945 for the chapter 45.
No.
Okay.
Hamim in Surah 45, how many occurrences do you have?
45. The chapter 45, Hamim, I got 945.
Now, what do you mean 945? That's what I'm asking. You're saying there's a 945 Hamims that occur?
Yes.
It's incorrect.
Ha plus meme.
Okay.
They happen 945 times.
Doesn't happen 945 times.
If you say so.
I mean, look.
So the ha happens 31 31 times.
Okay.
The multiple.
Let's look at
11.
that.
I'm just telling you, it's not 545.
Sure. Okay, so 45.
Get it?
45.
And then the meme happens 200 times. So it's 200.
How'd you get 945?
Hold on. Let me see. Let's just make sure that we're getting.
Ha is 200.
I mean, just give him a sec.
40.
Let me show you. My video shows it too.
That's 20.
Check
no,
Hamim. I checked Hamim. They're not a multiple 11.
Oh, I was multiplying by 21 instead of 11, so that was my mistake.
So far you have out of the 29 chapters.
231.
I told you. Bro, listen. I'm telling you, yeah, it's a multiple of what I'm saying. 945 is the wrong number, and you get all butt hurt. Okay.
No. Well, I mean,
man,
we're doing this on the fly. Man. Come on. I mean,
I think
can all make.
Okay, so 4-1. So you have 4.
Okay. 31.
Next one. Ain Sin Kaf.
Yeah,
Happens
19 times
in
11.
42.
Okay.
It happens. Yeah, yeah, there you go.
19 times
So you
11.
got 45.
And
Hold on, let's do a list
we
of what you
got
have.
another one. Non. It's at 68.
So you got 29, 30.
68. It's not. It's 68 is 12. 12 times 11. There you go. So that's. Let's even say that this, for some reason, somehow now you guys are actually changing these the way how you count it. That's fine. It's still 6.
So how many do you have? So what's your total?
I say it's 8 because that's how I do
Oh, bro, it's not 8.
the
2
other
of them
ones.
aren't there. We'll give you 6, right?
Well, hold on.
I'm
Wait a
okay
minute.
with 6. I don't really
Is
care.
it really 6? Is it really 6? I got 4 so far. What did I
Benefit
miss?
of the doubt. The aspect is this. You're basically looking, assuming all else equal, the probability of that is about 1 to 1,500. It's not that significant.
Wait. What are the?
Stop,
What are
dude.
the
Nah,
numbers?
don't go
What are
that
the? I
far, man.
got 4.
Don't dig your
I
grave,
got
man.
4. Wait a minute. I got 4 chapters that are multiples of 11. What else do you got?
Okay, so what did we say? We have non. We had Ain Sin Kaf. We have Ha Mim. We got Ta Sin, but take 1 out, so that's 1 out of those.
Wait.
We have.
Noon is not multiple. It's not a multiple of 11. 133.
Counts as 132. It's fine.
No.
It's 132, sir. I'm not changing Quran. Sorry, you're not gonna do that on me. First, you have to prove something to be able to actually change the Quran. You're not proving it to me. That's the big difference.
Okay, fine. We gave you 5. We gave you noon also.
6.
What's 6?
Is this a math class?
What?
Is this a math class? Mathematics?
Apparently.
Oh,
I have to teach him that some other number also happens randomly. But anyway, like I'm saying, I mean, I have no problem with you guys taking this data and massaging it.
Bro. I'm asking up front. How many do you say there are? There's 2 that aren't, right? So you claimed 8. We came to the realization Tasim Meme isn't there. Alif Lam Meme Ra isn't there. So it's 6.
First of all, let me explain this because
just up front.
I have 5.
It's not that hard.
It was explained to me how you guys do these calculations, and I was using that.
Okay, bro, calm down. Statistically, you would expect there to be about just shy of 3 of these surahs that basically have this phenomenon, right? You showed 6. The statistical probability about that is basically less than 1 out of 1,500.
No, 1 divided by 11 to the power of 5.
No. This is the part that you're wrong on. Explain.
Yeah, he doesn't understand this part.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. What was that? I got 5 written down here. What is it?
Stop. Statistically, how many would you expect to find?
It's a random thing. I'm really
It's
not
random,
sure.
bro. This is math. How many do you expect?
Just like 19.
No,
it happens.
Bro, 1 out of 11. What is that? What's the statistical?
Here it is. Here, I'll write it down. I'll write it down so everybody can see.
Like, look. You could make a much stronger argument. The only thing is like you're ill-equipped. You're just ignorant.
Oh, I'm not, sir.
There's 29 chapters, right? And you're using the number 11. You would have about 2.6 occurrences that you would expect. This is just math. This is 11 divided by 29, right? You would expect it to occur about 3 surahs. This is what you would expect statistically.
Stop digging your grave, sir.
The fact that you're coming up with 6 occurrences. The fact that you're coming up with 6 occurrences, right? You can't say that, oh, it's basically 1 out of 11 to the 6. No, because you expect statistically for 3 occurrences to happen just by sheer probability.
Sheer probability, just like 19. You go 1 over 19 to the 5.
Okay,
same thing.
This is again. I'm trying to help you out. Okay,
you need to help yourself out, man.
The limits of your knowledge. If you pick the number 11 and you have 29 chapters, what is the probability that any one of these chapters is going to be a multiple of 19? Sorry, 11.
99%.
Don't tell him, bro. Just say, look, What is it?
It's 1 over 11.
Okay. So if you have 29 chapters, what is the probability of X number of them being a multiple of 11?
If you're gonna do that, then you're gonna make the same stupid thing with the 19.
Oh,
and then you're gonna realize how dumb that
This is
is.
just math. This is just math.
Watch
No,
your
no, that's-
language. Watch your language. It's talking.
Great piece. Look, this is just math. If I
Well, but-
have a bunch of red marbles, right, in a bag, and I ask, okay, there's red marbles and white marbles, what's the probability I'm going to pull a red marble out, right? This is just math. Don't get offended by this.
No, because you're gonna have to
No, it
apply the
sounds
same
like you are,
rule.
because I'm telling you, I'm saying, look, you have 29, okay, marbles labeled 1 through 11. What is the probability of pulling out one that's going to be a multiple of 11?
Think about that. No, because this is completely different thing that has nothing to do with
Bro,
what
this
we're
is
doing.
just math.
It
Like,
is a
literally,
math,
like,
but it has
you can
nothing to
this
do
in-
with our problem here.
No,
That's
this does. This shows that, look, statistically, you would expect roughly 2.65 of
God,
the total
that's
29
silly.
to be a multiple of 19. Sorry, 11. Just math. This is literally, I mean,
Yeah.
this is nothing complicated. It's 11 over 29. That's what you would expect.
You do realize that we're picking a number, and we're saying what is the probability of that number to be divisible by 11? What is the chance?
1 out of 11. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
How
but
about
okay,
I give
you're
you?
not
How
dealing
about
with one
hold
number.
on.
You're
How
not
about
dealing
I
with
give
one
you
number.
another
That's
one?
the whole point. You got 29, right?
Okay,
You're
that's
trying
fine. So I'll give you another number. So I'll give you another number. What is the probability that both of them, the first two that I gave you, will be multiple, actually divisible by 11? What is the probability?
Are they mutually exclusive or not?
I don't think it
It
matters
does,
in this
bro,
case because,
bro,
like I'm telling
that's
you,
what
I'm
saying.
giving you
Like,
two.
look, literally, you're asking questions that you're not even capable of comprehending.
Oh
Like,
no,
this is
dude.
fundamental.
See, I was actually going your path last time when everybody was saying like, oh my god,
Can
what am
I
I
just
doing?
say
I'm
something?
just making a fool of myself.
But can I just say something on this? It's actually more. He's using more than 29. I think he said using 33, so it's more than 3 times are
But even
expected.
if you give
And
it to
I've
him,
only verified.
bro, Navid, I don't think he understands.
Oh
You got
No,
a
he
bag,
doesn't.
okay?
No,
You
he
got a
doesn't.
bag,
He doesn't.
okay? You're gonna pick random. Let's say there's just a ton of numbers. What's the probability of pulling numbers out of a bag, 29 numbers, that it's gonna be a multiple of 19? This is simple.
Okay,
You would
let's
expect
work
11
with
out of
19 then.
29. You would
Let's work
expect,
with the 19 then. Are you
you
saying that
expect
19 is
11
nothing special? Are you saying nothing is
expect-
nothing special?
Listen, oh, I'm just trying to teach you some basic statistics here.
Because I can go that route. That's
11 out
my
of
whole
29.
point.
No, because you don't understand. You still are saying that the significance of this is 1 to the 11 to the 6th power. It's not. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
I say it is, but okay, go ahead.
This is simple, right? If I'm picking, okay, one number, you say,
Yes.
what is the probability of that number to be a multiple of 11? It's 1 out of 11. If it's mutually exclusive and I get that 6 times, then you would say, okay, it's 1 out of 11 to the 6th power.
Because
That's not
how
what we're
else
dealing
they're
with.
gonna be? What else
No,
they're
no.
gonna be if they're not?
You're picking
Because
29
we're talking about
No.
two random numbers. There's
No.
nothing. There's not.
Okay, can someone else chime in? Is this not making sense?
This is what I've been trying to explain. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. If you have 100 random numbers, you're guaranteed to get multiples of 11.
Yeah.
That's the part he doesn't
Like,
get.
look, if I pull 100 numbers, right? Statistically, roughly 9% of them are going to be a multiple of 11.
Yeah, that's the part.
Right?
That's the disconnect.
That's what I'm
what
trying to
he's
get
not
at. Like,
getting,
look,
unfortunately.
you have, and I don't know. I'm taking his word that he has 29 combinations, right? You would expect that roughly 3 of them are just by probability alone going to be a multiple of 11. It's just a statistical probability. If you end up finding, if we give him the benefit that it's 6, it's like, okay, then that's 11 to
Can
the
I just
third.
ask a question? How many initials are doubled up?
What do you mean? Are you
Like
asking me or
the
him?
Amin, Einstein, Rav. Is that the only one?
42, that's it.
So then, why is he saying 33 chances then?
Where do you see that?
Well, he keeps saying 33, but I guess in this case it would be 30 instances, right? So he has 30 tries, right? Because he double dips on chapter 42, right?
True.
He checks the Hamim and he checks Ein Sin Raf.
Yeah, true. That is true, yeah.
So he's double dipping on that one. So you got 30. So we expect around 3 of them.
It's just
And
shy of
I
3,
confirmed.
right? So that
But hold on a
increases
second. But I only confirmed 5. Why are you guys saying 6?
the doubt, right? Let's say it's 6. It really doesn't matter. It's like, look, if it's 3, right? You're saying it's 5, right?
I confirmed 5.
Okay.
And if it's 5, then it's not
1 out of
statistically
121,
significant.
right? That's like basically about, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but I wouldn't say anything that's significant, right? If you say, for instance, again, you say, hey, we have 6 combinations, then that's going to basically be 1 out of 1,331. Again, it's like, okay, interesting, but that's not outside of the expectation of even 1 standard deviation. It's like, okay.
But if it gets straight with 19, you're saying that's significant? Well, first of all, with 11, that's almost double the amount of instances than 19, right? That's almost double occurrences that you should expect.
Yeah. Well, look, it's like 1 out of 19, you're basically at 5.2%. 1 out of 11, you're about 9%.
So it's double.
Almost, yeah.
So it's about 10%, almost 10%. That one's about 5%. So it's double the chance of getting it, and he's getting roughly the same amount. So that means, but we have more than 5. So that means the 19 is statistically significant. So if we get 6 or 8 instances of 19, he gets 5 or 6 with 11. Already that's an anomaly because 19 is supposed to occur around half the times that 11 occurs, yet it's occurring even more than 11. So that's statistically significant. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time.
The funny thing is, again, he's just dealing with permutations, right? It's not like it's 11 that's significant. It's like, okay, he could have tried, 13, he could have tried 15, he could have tried 17, he could have tried, 23, like, let's take 15 out, but like just the various primes. And he said, look, I tested 10 numbers. Then from that 10, this one had, he claimed 8. We basically whittled that down to somewhere between 5 and 6.
He tried 17 and he only got 2.
You all are kind of arguing with him while he's not here.
I could care less what he has to say.
I don't know how to say your name. You should probably change the.
We gotta give props to him though. I mean, he's actually trying.
You should probably take the spreadsheet and make it a way where we can all engage with it. Maybe you can make some type of calculator that's.
So
we know it.
no, it was good because he tried all these numbers, and then on 17 he got 2 instances. So why is it that 17 only has 2 instances, but 19 has?
No, but this is the whole point, right? You're going to have a distribution. So in the case of 17, it's below what you would expect to find in the sense of just probabilistically, right? Naturally, you're going to find some that are on the other end of the distribution, which he found with 11. It's like, okay, you got, again, if we want to be generous, he has 6. Again, that's only a 1 out of 1,300 probability. It's not that great. It's not that significant.
I think that his point is that these aren't like significant patterns in such a large data set. Like that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but the aspect is like, again, if we use the number 19, okay, we have combinations for every single set of initials. Again, you look at Surah 42, we're going to say that, okay, not only is Ein Sin Qaf a multiple, but Qaf itself is a multiple. Then Hamim in the set of 40 through 46 is a multiple. So you have this interlocking mechanism. You have Qaf in Surah 50, that's a multiple. You have the Sads in 3 surahs, that's a multiple. You have Tasin Mim on 2 sets that are multiples. You have Alif Lam Mim in each individual surah is a multiple. Alif Lam Mim Ra is a multiple. Alif Lam Mim Sad is a multiple.
I have a question. Okay, I have a question. So I just put the data out of these 4, 8, so 4, 8, let's say 11. Out of these 11, how many of these are multiples of 11? 2 of them? 3 of them? Right, because I just put it in VC1-chat. How many of them are multiples of 11? Now Static is attacking the Aleph count. Now he's saying Aleph count is incorrect. It's a lie. You're a lie.
Because that's actually the true statement, man. I mean, it's silly that you guys are promoting the Alephs because they're incorrect. We know that.
So do you
Everybody
have
knows
the
that.
correct counts of Aleph?
Yes, I have them here.
How do you have the correct
All of
counts
this.
of Aleph?
I have them.
This is the whole concept of the Aleph counts, right?
I knew it. I
Give
knew
him.
you were gonna say that. Yes, yes. I knew you were gonna say that.
Hold on. Put 2 verses in Arabic and have him count them for us.
This is the whole concept. Like, look, literally, you will not find 2 manuscripts prior to 1924 that the Aleph counts are going to be identical. This is just a fact. There are always going to be disputes. So if he claims I have the correct Aleph counts, it's like, okay, prove it. You know, because the aspect is these are always going to be a point of contention. That's just a fact. The thing is, we can show using a consistent counting method that you can get the same multiple across every single chapter. You know, can you do that the same with 11? A consistent counting method of the Alephs across the 13 initial Aleph counts?